Chapter 25:12. Almighty Shu. Yushu thought about it. There's a way, actually. Let's just get Elder Pai to punch him, and everything will be fine. Elder Pai's a sky class. He won't be able to defend against his attack. That's a good idea, but didn't Elder Pai go back already? Plus, if they let Elder Pai handle this, wouldn't it bring trouble to the Hidden House Pai? Isn't Pinliang from the an everyday sect or something? Wouldn't it be a problem if they found out that a master from a hidden house came to the common world? Meng Yao asked worriedly. This wasn't the same as before, after all. Last time it was Elder Pai who came out to save Xinyan from the shadows, and the robbers were either idiots or idiots. This time, however, it was different. They were doing it in front of everyone. Yeah, that's why Almighty Shu isn't omnipotent sometimes. Yushu shrugged helplessly. Actually, it's easy to handle. We just need to ignore him. Ignore him? Meng Yao blinked. Yeah, just ignore him. Yushu said. When Shield Bro comes back, it'd be great if he can beat him. But if he can't, I'll think of a way to change Pinliang's golden cicada underwear, and Shield Bro will be able to beat him. After that, I'll tell him that the previous matches don't count, since we weren't watching. Let him fight Shield Bro again, and Shield Bro will win for sure. Shu, it looks like you're not afraid at all. No wonder you're not nervous. Meng Yao sighed in relief after hearing Yushu's words. It's not that I'm not afraid. I'm actually thinking, how can I get Liangzi's good stuff? That iron rod of his is pretty good, too. If Shield Bro gets it, ha ha ha, Yushu said with a wicked smile. Getting it all. That's not a good idea, is it? Meng Yao said worriedly. Will the everyday sect behind him agree? If they don't agree, then let them give Liangzi some more stuff, and we'll get it when he comes back to act cool. Yushu said disapprovingly. Lil Liang is such a good person, giving equipment to Shield Bro. Pfft. Meng Yao almost burst into laughter at Yushu's words. Pinliang was really unlucky, encountering a Zhou Ripper like Shu. Whatever good stuff he brought, he'd lose it all. But Meng Yao didn't sympathize with him. Pinliang had kidnapped her and Shu before, and had done a lot of things to harm Linny. How could Meng Yao sympathize with him? Lin Yi got into Han Xiaopa's car and arrived at Donghai Industry University. Lin Yi heard the students talking about Pinliang's arena the moment he parked the car in the parking lot. And Lin Yi naturally paid attention to it. What Lin Yi didn't expect was that Pinliang would use this method to force him to abdicate. It was a lot smarter than before, but with Shu here, would it really work? Let's go and take a look, Lin Yi said to Han Xiaopa. Boss, you have some kind of conflict with this Pinliang? Han Xiaopa got the gist of it. Hiya. Meng Yao's pursuer, my high school classmate, Lin Yi said. This guy used to go against me all the time and recently joined the an everyday sect. He got himself some mid-class golden cicada underwear, and anyone under Sky class won't be afraid anymore. So it's him. Xiaopa understood what Lin Yi was talking abruptly. No wonder Lin Yi was asking about the mid-level golden cicada underwear yesterday. So this was what it was all about. The two followed the crowd to where Pinliang was holding the arena and saw Pinliang standing on the stage with a proud look on his face. No one went up the stage again, however, as if they knew that it was impossible to defeat Pinliang, and so they just watched the show from below the stage. They wanted to see if there were any idiots coming up to die. Linny! Linny, you're back? Pinliang saw Lin Yi in the crowd and yelled excitedly, Lin Yi, come up to the arena since you're back. Don't be a coward. Lin Yi didn't want to go up to the arena immediately because he didn't know Pinliang's situation, and he didn't want to make a move before he understood Yushu and Meng Yao's intentions. But Pinliang had already yelled out those words. If Lin Yi backed down in front of the crowd, it'd give Pinliang an excuse to force him to abdicate. He'd find Meng Yao and Yushu and say, if Lin Yi doesn't dare fight me, then what right does he have to be your bodyguard? This would put Meng Yao and Yushu in a difficult position. All right, since you've invited me, I'll come up and try. Lin Yi nodded, and with a leap, he landed on the arena Pinliang had built. It was called an arena, but it was just a gymnasium. I'll stand here, you can fight. Pinliang looked at Lin Yi fearlessly, his arms crossed in front of his chest, as if he was above all. Fiery 8 trigrams palm, 5th form. Lin Yi didn't use his strongest move right away, since it would consume too much energy. Lin Yi only needed to use the 5th form of Fiery 8 trigrams palm to see if Pinliang was really invincible under Sky Class, and if he could defend against Lin Yi's skill, which was equivalent to the 11th form of Sky Class. Boom! Lin Yi's palm landed on Pinliang's body, and although Pinliang was unharmed, he was still forced back a few steps by Lin Yi's strength. He barely managed to steady himself, and looked at Lin Yi, surprised. Not bad, but it's nothing to me. Pinliang didn't expect Lin Yi's move to be this strong. After all, Lin Yi was the only person who could make him take a few steps back since he came down from the mountain. As for the others, they couldn't do anything to him at all. Basically, all the power was absorbed by the golden cicada undergarment, and Pinliang didn't feel anything. However, Lin Yi's palm did make him take a few steps back, and it was enough to show that Lin Yi was stronger than the others. But Pinliang thought about it. All the people he faced before were Mystic and Golden class, and only Lin Yi was an Earth class, so it made sense that he was stronger. But even an Earth class couldn't do anything to him, right? He had underestimated his opponent and didn't adjust his stance in time, causing him to take a few steps back. He needed to focus now. Pinliang was surprised, and Lin Yi was even more surprised. One had to know that the 5th form of Lin Yi's Fiery 8 trigrams palm was equivalent to the 11th form of Sky Class. Chapter 25:13. Lin Yi was shocked that the 11th form had no effect on Pinliang. It seemed like this mid-tier golden cicada underwear was really good stuff. Was it really divided according to strength? He wasn't a Sky Class, so even if he used a Sky Class skill, he wouldn't be able to hurt Pinliang. Lin Yi wasn't satisfied and didn't answer Pinliang's question. He used his strongest skill, the 7th form of Fiery 8 trigrams palm. Boom! Lin Yi's palm landed on Pinliang's chest again, and a strong fire element chi burst out from Lin Yi's palm. Even an early-stage Sky Class would be heavily injured if they took a hit from Lin Yi, but Pinliang was only sent flying by Lin Yi. His body flew out of the ring and landed heavily on the ground as Lin Yi's chi exploded. Good. Oh, Dash, that's great. That's amazing. The audience cheered when they saw Pinliang get knocked down by Lin Yi. There was a saying that went, the experts knew the ropes, while the amateurs enjoyed the show. The students here were all normal people, not practitioners. As far as they were concerned, Lin Yi defeating Zhong Pinliang was a victory for him, and Pinliang had to pay Lin Yi 1,000 yuan as a reward. Of course, although Pinliang was sent flying by Lin Yi, Lin Yi knew that Pinliang wasn't injured at all. Other than the fall, he was perfectly fine. He wasn't injured at all. This situation made Lin Yi feel helpless and speechless. Even an early-stage Sky Class was no match for him, and Pinliang was just a normal practitioner. He couldn't do anything to him. How sad was this? It seemed like the mid-tier golden cicada underwear protected the opponent's level. As long as he didn't reach Sky Class, even if he used a Sky Class skill, his strength was still there. He still couldn't do anything to Pinliang. Although most of the people below the stage were cheering, there were also a few who were silent after seeing this scene. That was Tiger Right, Yellow Hair, Purple Hair, Li Biaohan, and the others. Tiger Right, Yellow Hair, and Purple Hair were fine after taking the pill. Li Biaohan, on the other hand, had a cast on his leg and was sitting in a wheelchair, looking very pitiful. He came here to find a sense of balance. He watched others get bullied by Pinliang. His frustration lessened a little. But when he saw that even Lin Yi couldn't do anything to Pinliang, he felt a strong sense of fear. Tiger Right and the others felt the same. They were all practitioners and could naturally tell that Lin Yi was using the 13th form of Sky Class skill. Although they were curious as to how a mere Earth class mid-phase peak was able to use the 13th form of the Heaven class, they were even more curious as to why Pinlion wasn't injured at all after being hit by the 13th form. Lin Yi's move was enough to cripple a Sky class early phase or even early phase peak. But Pinlion wasn't injured at all. Other than being sent flying off the stage, he didn't seem to have any other injuries. Kid, lost, right? Can't take it anymore? Now you know there's always someone better than you? Yeah, hurry up and pay up. You've swallowed so much money before, it's time to pay up. Hurry up and pay up. Be quick. It had to be said that the students were all focused on Pinlion's payout. They didn't care why Pinlion wasn't afraid of the fight, nor did they care if Lin Yi could do anything to him. They just saw that Pinlion lost, so they wanted him to pay up. Pinlion was a little annoyed. He stood up and jumped onto the stage, speaking to Lin Yi. No, let's fight again. You're different from the others. It doesn't matter if you beat me. You have to beat me first. What the hell? Are you going to keep your word? You said it yourself. I just have to beat you and I'll get 1,000 kwai. Why is it different now? Yeah. Isn't this a scam? You're so happy when you win, but now you're changing the terms when you lose. Isn't this a scam? Liar, this kid is a liar. Yeah, where's the guy who lost? Let's ask him for a refund. The one who spoke was a sports major student who went up to the stage. He was instigating the people who lost to ask Xiaofu for their money. Sure enough, as soon as he said that, the others responded and surrounded Gao Xiaofu, saying, "Hurry up and refund the money." Xiaofu looked at Pinlion awkwardly. Do you want to get beaten up? Liar, if you don't give us a refund, we'll beat you up and send you to the school leaders. They'll say that you're scamming students. A student said, Yeah, the school will definitely give you demerits. Another student said, Maybe they'll even expel you. Another student added fuel to the fire. Give it back, give it to them. Pinlion said helplessly. He was really afraid that Xiaofu would be at a disadvantage. He wasn't afraid of getting beaten up, but Xiaofu was. What if Xiaofu got beaten up half to death? Although refunding his money was a little embarrassing, it was still better than Xiaofu getting beaten up. He would lose even more face if that happened. Fine, I'll refund your money. Xiaofu said helplessly. He refunded the money to the people who went up to the stage before they let him go. Lin Yi, on the other hand, calculated the pros and cons in his mind and said to Pinlion, I'm sorry, if you want to compete in something else, we can do it another day. I don't have time today. With that, Lin Yi ignored Pinlion and jumped off the stage. Although he knew that he lost the battle, the other students didn't. They saw that Lin Yi had won and defeated Pinlion. This way, Pinlion wouldn't be able to use public opinion to force Meng Yao and Yushu on the school's forum. Pinlion was furious, but there was nothing he could do after Lin Yi left. He couldn't force Lin Yi to compete, could he? He couldn't beat Lin Yi up with a stick. It would be fine if there was no one around. But in front of everyone, people would think that he was beating up Xiaofu because he couldn't afford to lose the 1,000 kwai. That would be even more disadvantageous to him. He could only give up. Xiaofu, where's the 1,000 kwai? Lin Yi walked up to Xiaofu after he got off the stage and extended his hand. Xiaofu hesitated. He was afraid of getting beaten up. So he took out the 1,000 kwai and handed it to Lin Yi helplessly. Chapter 25:14. Pinlion wasn't afraid of getting beaten up, but Xiaofu was. One slap from Lin Yi would be enough to kill him. Lin Yi put the 1,000 kwai into his pocket. He didn't care about the money. He only did it to annoy Pinlion a little, making him shoot himself in the foot. It was also a way to cover up his helplessness in losing, in case Pinlion used the opportunity to force Meng Yao to abdicate again. Lin Yi took the money and left. Pinlion cursed Lin Yi for being a coward in his heart, but he didn't dare say it out loud in front of everyone. If he did, the students in the audience might start cursing at him. After all, everyone saw that Pinliang had lost, and it was reasonable for Lin Yi to reject his challenge. In their eyes, Pinliang was being shameless. If Pinliang showed even the slightest bit of dissatisfaction, the students might think that he was a sore loser. And so, Pinliang didn't have the face to continue setting up the arena. He quickly packed up with Xiaofu and left the arena under the disdainful gazes of the students. The other students dispersed after the two left, and the commotion died down just as quickly as it started. Some of the nosy students had already uploaded the battle report to the school's BBS forum, and Meng Yao and Yushu were the first ones to see the results. Yeah, Shield Bro didn't disappoint us. He beat Pinliang, Yushu said excitedly as she pointed at the post. Meng Yao, on the other hand, wasn't as excited as Yushu. She sighed helplessly. It looks like Lin Yi won, but he still lost. Lin Yi really can't do anything to Pinliang with that mid-level golden cicada underwear on. That's true, but Yao Yao, we should be satisfied. This result is much better than I expected. Yushu said, at least Pinliang can't use this to force us to abdicate and become your bodyguard. We don't have to rack our brains to find an excuse to reject him. As long as I steal his treasure, he'll be waiting to be beaten up. Roar, 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 roar. Shu, why do you have such a creepy laugh? Ming Yao's hair stood on end from Yushu's laugh. It's been a while since I've messed with people. I'm a little excited now that there's business. Yushu said embarrassedly. Lin Yi's call came in the middle of their conversation. Meng Yao picked it up. Lin Yi, you're back? Yeah, I met Zhong Pingyang earlier. Lin Yi said. Meng Yao continued before Lin Yi could finish. Yeah, I know. I saw the live broadcast on the school's BBS. You beat him. What do you mean knocked down? If it was someone else, they would have died long ago. He's not injured at all. This mid-grade golden cicada underwear is really strange. Lin Yi said with a bitter smile. Shield Bro, don't worry. Shu will take care of the rest for you. Yushu grabbed the phone and said to Lin Yi, Shield Bro used to be the one protecting me. This time, I'm going to protect Shield Bro. You? Done? Lin Yi blinked. Shu wants to trade Pinliang's mid-grade golden cicada underwear. Meng Yao explained Shu's idea to Lin Yi. You can do that. Lin Yi didn't even think of using his low-grade golden cicada underwear to trade Pinliang's commodity one. If it really worked, then Pinliang was really unlucky. Roar, roar, roar. Of course it works. Meng Yao mimicked Yushu and laughed evilly. Lin Yi was stunned. Miss, when did Shu infect you? What do you mean infect? We've always been alike, all right? Meng Yao humphed. All right, I won't bother then. I'll wait for the good news. Lin Yi said. I'll go back first then. I'll pick you guys up tonight. It was the weekend, and although there were people in school, they were all electives. They didn't have to go. Usually, when Lin Yi wasn't home, Meng Yao and Yushu would come to school. Meng Yao and Yushu only came to school for class. They wouldn't come if Lin Yi was at home. Lin Yi came to school, but he didn't plan on going to the electives. He'd just gathered the rainbow steel, pure yellow jade, and blue crystal. It wasn't a big amount, but he wanted to go back and try making the jade space. After all, Lin Yi had been looking forward to this for a long time. Now that he had all the materials, of course, he wanted to give it a try. Okay, see you tonight, Meng Yao said. Lin Yi turned around and got into Han Xiaopa's car. Let's go back to the villa in the Shueshang district. Lin Yi said, Okay, boss. Han Xiaopa nodded and started the car. At the same time, Pinliang and Xiaofu escaped to a secluded place and sat down in a pavilion, panting heavily. This was the school's little forest. In the summer, these pavilions were a haven for young people to love, study, and play cards. But in the winter, there was no one around. No one was stupid enough to come here in the cold. What a miscalculation! Who would have thought that Lin Yi would come back at this time? Pinliang said angrily, My mid-tier golden cicada undershirt can defend against attacks from practitioners below sky class. But Lin E is still in Earth class, mid-phase peak. He can still send me flying. Yeah, we wouldn't have held this arena if we'd known this would happen. Maybe we could have changed the rules when Lin E came, instead of letting Lin E come up. Xiaofu nodded in agreement. Things were going pretty well at first, and I thought I'd go to Meng Yao and Yushu and force them to let me be their bodyguard. It didn't matter if they were willing or not. As long as I became their bodyguard, everything would be a lot smoother from here on out. Wasn't Lin E disliked back then? Pinliang's plan wasn't bad, but there were some problems in implementing it. I wonder if Meng Yao knows about this? Xiaofu hesitated. Liang bro, maybe you should give Yushu a call and see what they're thinking? Maybe they've already seen the situation, or maybe they'll let Lin E say something unfavorable to Liang bro. Not bad, that's a good suggestion. Lin Yi's a sly bastard. I need to give Yushu a call and tell her that Lin Yi's shameless act this time. Pin Liang quickly took out his phone and called Yushu. Chapter 25:15. Hey Liangzi, what's up? Yushu had just planned out the next step of her plan and was just thinking about how to trick Pin Liang into coming here when Pin Liang walked right into her trap. What a nice guy he was. Shu, do you know about the fight between me and Lin E? Pin Liang asked. Fight? What fight? Yushu pretended not to know and asked confusedly. Haha, it's like this. Pin Liang was overjoyed to hear that Yushu didn't know anything about it. He started explaining. I've organized a tournament to see if I'm qualified to be your and Yao Yao's bodyguard. So I made a rule that whoever beats me will get 1,000 kwai as a reward. That's right. Of course, this is only for ordinary people. Cultivators naturally won't work. In that case, I'll definitely have to make a move. Pin Liang purposely gave Yushu a heads up, paving the way for what would happen next. However, he didn't expect Yushu to agree with him. Yeah, if you don't fight against a practitioner, then you're an idiot. Yushu added, Ugh, yeah. Pin Liang smiled bitterly. Did that mean he was an idiot? But in order to smear Lin Yi's name, he didn't care if he was an idiot or not. He continued, but I didn't think that Lin Yi would suddenly come back and beat me up. He even asked me for 1,000 kwai. Don't you think that's infuriating? He's a practitioner. How can he have the same rules as normal people? Isn't that cheating? I asked him to continue fighting with me, but he took the money and left. How shameless. Oh, about that, I got it. Yushu said, Yao Yao sis and I didn't see your fight, so it doesn't count. Even if you want to fight, we have to be there to see it with our own eyes. Otherwise, it doesn't count. Yeah. Pin Liang was overjoyed. That's right, that's it. Without the two of you present, the competition doesn't count. He's only acting shamelessly for a while. When the time comes for the real competition, let's see if he can still act shamelessly. But Liang Yi, I don't have time to talk to you right now. I'm busy. Yushu interrupted. Ah, Sister Shu, what are you busy with? Pin Liang asked. Do you need my help? No need. Yao Yao sis is feeling a little uncomfortable. She seems to have caught a cold and is lying on the bed. I need to take care of her. Yushu said. Ah, Yao caught a cold? Are you all right? Pin Liang rolled his eyes. Do you need me to go and help? It's fine, it's the girls' dorm, you can't come in. Yushu said. Ha, what makes you think I can't? Pin Liang curled his lips. He had already found out that the auntie of the female dormitory bullied the weak and feared the strong. He could move unimpeded. There's no need for that, right? It's inconvenient, isn't it? Yushu hesitated. Yao Yao sis is only wearing pajamas. Meng Yao glared at Yushu, annoyed. You're the one who made me wear it, aren't you? Besides, my pajamas are very tight, okay? Everything that needs to be covered is covered. And I'm even lying under the blanket. Ha! Pajamas? Pin Liang almost drooled when he heard that, but to hide his lustful look, he quickly put on a serious face. What's inconvenient about it? I'm going to be your bodyguard soon. Are you not going to wear pajamas at home in the future? Wait, I'll go right now. No, please don't come. Yushu's tone changed from hesitant to firm. Pinliang, on the other hand, couldn't hear the change in Yushu's tone. Wait for me, I'll go right now. Don't. Please don't come. Yushu hung up with that. Uff. Meng Yao almost burst out laughing when she heard Yushu hang up. Shu, your acting was pretty good, wasn't it? Say it. Are you practicing when you have nothing better to do? Are you trying to seduce Lin Yi? No way. I'm practicing for Yao Yao, sis. Yushu stuck her tongue out. For me? What does that have to do with me? Meng Yao blushed as she remembered something. She glared at Yushu. Prepare? Pinliang will be here soon. Oh, I'll go prepare. Yushu ran out of the dorm with the basin in her arms. Pinliang, on the other hand, turned to Xiaofu after hanging up. Take these things back and wait for me. I'm going to find Meng Yao. Liang bro, you don't need my help. Xiaofu asked carefully. Help? Help my ass. Pinliang glared at Xiaofu. Didn't you hear that Yao Yao is wearing pajamas? What are you going to do? It's a girls' dorm too. Why are there so many people? It won't be easy to get in. Okay. Xiaofu didn't really want to see Meng Yao in her pajamas. He just wanted to see if there were any other pretty girls in the dorm. Who knows? Maybe he'd run into one. But he couldn't do that now. Pinliang wouldn't let him go at all. He could only go back to the dorm with the banners and wait for Pinliang's return. Pinliang said goodbye to Xiaofu and ran towards Meng Yao's dorm. He'd gotten Meng Yao's room number a long time ago, and when he entered the door, Pinliang told the guard that his girlfriend was sick and needed to be taken care of. He also gave the guard 100 kuai in private, and the guard let him in after confirming that there were no problems with the room number and name Pinliang had given her. Pinliang, on the other hand, ran to Meng Yao's dorm. He was about to knock on the door when he realized that it wasn't locked. He was overjoyed. He pushed the door open and rushed in. He had a little bit of hope in his heart. Maybe he'd see some intimate scenes if he rushed in, but the reality was cruel. Pinliang didn't see anything when he entered the dorm. He only felt a basin falling from the sky and splashing dirty water on his face. Fortunately, he reacted fast and dodged it in time. Otherwise, the dirty water would have gone up his neck. What's this? What's going on? Pinliang wiped the dirty water off his face and sneezed, completely confused. Chapter 25:16. Liang Yi, why are you here? Yushu was shocked. Didn't I tell you not to come? Oh my God. Shu sis, what is this? Why is the water so black and there's dirt in it? Pinliang asked, looking like a drowned rat. Man, it's to prevent perverts from coming. Yushu explained helplessly. Yao Yao's sick. I have to be prepared for fire, theft, and perverts. Fire, theft, and perverts. Pinliang blinked. How? Using this basin of dirty water? Yeah, think about it. Water can put out a fire, right? I put the water on top of the door, so when someone opens the door, the water will fall down. Isn't this anti-theft and perverts? Yushu explained. There are perverts here. Can perverts come in? Isn't this a girls' dorm? Pinliang was speechless. He wasn't sure if Yushu was messing with him on purpose. After all, there were plenty of examples like this. If it's a girls' dorm, how did you get in? Yushu asked. Pinliang thought about it. It was true. Didn't he get in anyway? It wasn't that Yushu couldn't understand the pervert's actions, but it still didn't sit well with her. But isn't this a trap? I'm dead because of you. Liang Yi, you're wrong. Didn't I tell you not to come? I told you not to come. Yushu said with a straight face. But you didn't listen to me and came in. Who can you blame? But even if I don't come, won't other people come? It's not good if the dirty water gets blamed on someone else. Pinliang said. Other people knock first. Who told you to barge in without knocking? Yushu blinked suddenly and looked at Pin Liang teasingly. I say, Liangyi, you're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Are you trying to see something you're not supposed to see? Gah! Pin Liang froze, as if Yushu had stepped on a sore spot. He shook his head awkwardly. Of course not. I'm just worried about Yao Yao's illness. I'm not that bad. All right, Shu, stop teasing Zhong Pingliang. He's really unlucky. Meng Yao spoke up softly. Zhong Pingliang shouldn't be a pervert. He knows that you're not easy to deal with. Why would he act like a pervert in front of you? That's right, you know me best, Yao Yao. Pin Liang heard Meng Yao defending him. He felt a surge of warmth in his heart, feeling extremely comfortable and pleasantly surprised. He thought that Meng Yao was starting to acknowledge him in her heart. All right, Zhong Pingliang, look at how dirty your hair is. Hurry up and take a shower. Don't catch a cold, or you'll catch a cold too. Meng Yao said to Zhong Pingliang. Shu, bring Zhong Pingliang to the bathroom. Let him take a shower? Ah, let little Liangzi take a bath here? That's not very good, is it? Yushu's face changed at Meng Yao's suggestion. Yao Yao, there's your sexy lingerie in the washroom. Meng Yao blushed. Shu said, Shu, don't talk nonsense. What about mine? Besides, the bathroom is private. It's not like we're taking a shower outside. Meng Yao naturally wouldn't put her lingerie in the washroom, but Zhong Pingliang didn't know that. His heart raced when he heard that Meng Yao's lingerie was in the washroom. He almost had a nosebleed. He quickly said, Shu sis, I'm not feeling well. I'm really not feeling well. Let me take a bath. Don't worry, I won't do something dirty like that. If I can't even get past this, how am I going to be your and Yao Yao's bodyguard in the future? Is that so? Then you can't look around or touch. Yushu finally agreed after some thought. But you should go in and take off your clothes first. I'll go check the bathroom after you're in. See if you touched our underwear or not. You can't lock the door from the inside. Don't worry. Although Zhong Pingliang said that, he felt a little regretful. He felt a little regretful in his heart. He had wanted to masturbate on Meng Yao's underwear, but this wish was obviously not going to come true. He pretended to be calm on the surface and said, My bodyguard's quality is quite good. You can go and check them later. All right, go wash up then, Yushu said with a wave of her hand, letting him go. Then I'll go, Zhong Pingliang said and entered the washroom. He didn't have to take a shower, but if he didn't, he would have to leave. He wanted to stay with Meng Yao for a while longer. Zhong Pingliang entered the washroom, and Yushu grinned at Meng Yao and made a victory sign. Oh, it's done. Don't get carried away. Don't let him find out later, Meng Yao reminded. Don't worry, leave it to Shu. Yushu quickly took out the low-level golden cicada underwear from her wardrobe and stood at the washroom door, listening for any movements inside. Not long after, she heard Zhong Pingliang open the bathroom door, followed by the sound of running water. Evidently, Zhong Pingliang had entered the bathroom. But for safety's sake, Yushu decided to wait until Zhong Pingliang had soap all over his body before going in. After a while, Yushu estimated that it was about time. She opened the washroom door and walked in. Shu, you came in for a check? Pin Liang heard the door open and guessed that it was Yushu coming in. The bathroom's glass was opaque, and one could only see a vague silhouette, but Yushu didn't want Pin Liang to notice anything. What's the point of checking if you've already said that? I came here to pee. Turn around, don't look at me. Oh, okay, no problem. But I can't see anything through this glass. Although Zhong Pingliang said that, he still turned around. He thought, who wants to look at a troublemaker girl like you? If I look at you and you continue to cling to me, I won't be able to live for the rest of my life. Yushu pretended to go to the washroom, but her hands weren't idle at all. She quickly flipped through the clothes Pin Liang had taken off, and with a single glance she saw the mid-tier golden cicada underwear. Zhong Pingliang's golden cicada underwear looked very similar to the low-level golden cicada underwear, and there was almost no difference. This confirmed Yushu's guesses. It was very easy for Yushu to switch underwear, and very quickly, Yushu completed the switch. Chapter 25:17. Yushu pressed the flush button and walked out of the bathroom, saying as she walked, "All right, you can continue showering now. You can turn around now." Oh, Pin Liang was washing his hair, so he didn't pay much attention. He only heard the bathroom door close when he heard it. "You got it?" Meng Yao asked, seeing Yushu coming out of the bathroom with a smile on her face. "Yes." Yushu waved the underwear in her hand, pleased. "Don't you think it's dirty? Pin Liang wore it before." Meng Yao curled her lips. "Ugh, I'll endure it for Shield Bro." Yushu stuffed Pin Liang's mid-level golden cicada underwear into a bag about 10 minutes later. Pin Liang was done showering as well. He walked out of the bathroom in a new outfit, his jacket covered in dirty water. He didn't put it on again. "Shoo, Yao Yao, I'm done showering. I feel much better now. That water was really dirty." "Oh, right. Where did you get that dirty water from?" "Someone else used it to clean the floor." Yushu said, "Oh, Yao Yao, how are you? Do you feel better? Do you need to go to the hospital?" Pin Liang didn't even notice that his mid-level golden cicada underwear had been swapped. "It's okay. I'll be fine after some rest. I'm a little sleepy," Meng Yao said with a yawn. "She's sleepy." Pin Liang paused, hesitating. He wouldn't be able to stay here if Meng Yao fell asleep. Even if he stayed here, he couldn't talk to Yushu, could he? He didn't want to talk to Yushu. From his years of experience, nothing good would happen if he stayed with Yushu for too long. "Yeah, I'll sleep for a bit," Meng Yao said as she closed her eyes. "Liangyi, you've come to see Yao Yao already. Can you leave now?" Yushu turned to Pin Liang and asked, Okay. Yao Yao, have a good rest. I'll come see you another day." Pin Liang said helplessly. He didn't want to leave, but he had to. "All right, Liangyi, Yao Yao's asleep. You're still talking to her?" Yushu glared at Pin Liang. Then, "I'll be going." Pin Liang felt a little regretful, but at least his relationship with Meng Yao had improved quite a bit. This made him very happy. He didn't know why. Even if he was strong now, he still couldn't let go of Meng Yao. Logically speaking, with his current strength, finding a pretty girl was a piece of cake. But maybe it was the stubbornness in his heart that made it hard for him to forget his love for Meng Yao. Pin Liang left, and Meng Yao woke up as well. She didn't have a cold at all. Instead, he frowned and said, "Get someone to disinfect the bathroom later. I don't want any diseases to be infected." Meng Yao's hatred for Pin Liang had reached a new level, and she was a clean freak as well. Naturally, she couldn't share a bathroom with Pin Liang. In her mind, this was a very disgusting thing. "It's all because of Shield Bro." Yushu picked up her phone and called the student service company. This was a work-study service company established by the student council. They could provide cleaning, shopping, running errands, tutoring, and other services for the students in school. The university was different from the aristocratic high school. Although there were many students from rich families, there were also some students whose family conditions were not too good. The student association provided them with a work-study opportunity, which was a good thing. Professional cleaning of the dormitory was also one of the programs, and it was specially provided to some rich kids. Of course, Meng Yao and Yushu weren't the kind of people who would do whatever they wanted. Usually, they would clean the dorms themselves, but they didn't have professional disinfecting equipment. Meng Yao and Yushu left after the professional cleaners arrived. They weren't afraid that they would steal anything. All the valuables in the dorms were locked in their cabinets, and the students in charge of cleaning were all registered with the student council. It was impossible for them to steal anything. After returning home, Lin Yi told Han Xiaopa to go back first. He needed to study the good stuff he got from the practitioner's market. In the room, Lin Yi sorted out his spoils: a blue crystal, a sky-class earth element beast core, and a piece of pure yellow jade. It seemed like there were only 3 things, but they were all extremely valuable. Including the sky-class beast core, Lin Yi now had a total of 5 beast cores. He could use the refining method he got from House Tagan to make an essence necklace, but one of the cores was given to him by that thing that surpassed Sky Class, and it didn't let him use it carelessly. Lin Yi didn't dare use it carelessly. It would be too wasteful. That core was clearly different from the others. With that thought, Lin Yi decided to postpone the refinement of the necklace for a while. He'd wait until he had another beast core. Lin Yi glanced at the thing in the jade space. It was still curled up in a corner, not moving. Lin Yi had gotten used to this thing's existence these days, so he just ignored it. Other than taking up a small space, it didn't disturb Lin Yi's life at all. Putting the beast core away, Lin Yi took out the jade pendant condensing method from his drawer, as well as the colored steel and pure yellow jade he had collected. In comparison, the material he had the most was pure yellow jade. There was only a small piece of colored steel and blue crystal. After arranging the materials, Lin Yi opened the jade pendant condensing method and read it carefully. There were 2 prerequisites to condense the jade space. The first was to collect all the materials, and the second was to reach the 2nd level of the art of dragon mastery. Although Lin Yi's cultivation speed was very fast during this period, he was still a little bit away from the art of dragon mastery. However, this condition could be achieved through his own efforts, so Lin Yi didn't need to waste time and effort to find it. As he continued to read, Lin Yi understood why Jiao Yazi said that he needed to reach the 2nd level of the art of dragon mastery before he could condense the jade space. It was because condensing the jade space required a forging fire, and the prerequisite for the formation of this forging fire was to reach the 2nd level of the art of dragon mastery. As long as the forging fire could be formed, the jade pendant could be condensed. Chapter 2518. Lin Yi didn't know if this forging fire had anything to do with blacksmiths, but it sounded similar. It was just that this forging fire was converted from the art of dragon mastery, and there wasn't any special incantation or condensing method. Lin Yi put down the jade pendant condensing and put all the good stuff he got from this trip into the drawer. The drawer was filled with good stuff. There were 3 pieces of the map, the Wanyankan box, 5 spiritual beast cores, pure yellow jade, blue crystal, and colored steel. As for the sky net and 1,000 silk mask, Lin Yi carried them with him. After doing all this, Lin Yi sat on the bed and continued practicing. He couldn't help but think of Wang Xinyan. Lin Yi didn't know if it was because he missed her or because he wanted her to help him with his training. After a while, the sound of a car came from outside the villa. Lin Yi didn't expect Meng Yao and Yushu to drive back first. "Shield bro, Shu has something good for you." Yushu took out the mid-level golden cicada underwear as soon as she entered the house, holding it up in front of Lin Yi. "Zhong Pingliang's mid-level." "Zhong Pingliang?" Lin Yi blinked and realized what Shu meant. He couldn't help but be surprised. "Shu, you're saying that this is Zhong Pingliang's golden cicada underwear?" "Yeah, I used the low-level golden cicada underwear to replace it. That idiot doesn't even know about it," Yushu said proudly. "What do you think? Shu is amazing, right?" "Yeah, it is." Lin Yi nodded. "Then is there a reward?" Yushu asked. "Like a kiss of love for Yao Yao, sis." Puffed. "What does that have to do with me?" Meng Yao froze and almost kicked Yushu. "Of course it has something to do with you. Actually, it's all Yao Yao sis's credit. If it wasn't for Yao Yao sis pretending to be sick to attract Zhong Pingliang, she wouldn't have the chance to replace the underwear," Yushu said. "So it's all Yao Yao sis's credit. Then, I don't want the reward. You can have it," Meng Yao said, a little embarrassed. "Okay, come on, shield bro. Let's kiss Shu," Yushu said happily. "Huh." Lin Yi obviously wouldn't kiss Xiao Shu, although they had kissed before and Xiao Shu even confessed to him that night. Lin Yi knew that Xiao Shu might seem bold, but in some aspects she was very conservative. Otherwise, with Shu's personality, he had probably been pushed back a long time ago, but he hadn't been pushed back until now. which proved this point. Then I'll note it down first. I'll have to return it in the future. Yushu didn't force the issue. She picked up a pen and wrote something on the calendar in the living room. X year, X month, X day. Shield Bro owed Shu a kiss of love. I'll pay you back double in the future. He was stunned. He looked at little Shu thoughtfully. He felt that there was a hidden meaning behind her actions today, but he couldn't figure it out. He had a premonition. Maybe this thing could really come true in the future? Otherwise, why would Shu remember this? But before he could think too much, Shu passed the mid-tier golden cicada underwear to Lin-Yi and said, "Shield Bro, wash it first before using it." Lin-Yi nodded. "Actually, without this thing, Zhong Pingliang has nothing to rely on. I don't need to wear it to win against him. No, Zhong Pingliang has I don't know what it's called. It's something like the Jingu Bang. It seems to be able to break through people's chi protection and injure them with a stick." "What if he hits you with a stick?" Yushu said worriedly. "Oh, that's a good thing." Lin-Yi nodded. "All right, I'll wear it and deal with him tomorrow." Okay, finally done. Otherwise, this guy would be so annoying. Meng Yao let out a breath of relief after hearing Lin-Yi's words. "Since you guys are back, I'll go check on Han Jingjing. Have you guys seen each other these 2 days?" Lin-Yi asked. "Not really. That girl is always studying stuff. We don't disturb her when there's nothing important," Meng Yao said. "But Wang Xinyan came yesterday and asked where you were." "Wang Xinyan? He came yesterday?" Lin-Yi paused. "Yeah, she said she felt a little dizzy and wanted to ask you for help. But you weren't there, so she left," Meng Yao said. "Dizzy." Lin-Yi blinked. I think it's just that Xinyan misses Shield Bro and has no excuse, so she said she felt dizzy." Yushu said, "Shu, don't talk nonsense. Do you think everyone is like you?" Meng Yao glared at Shu and turned to Lin-Yi. "I wouldn't have thought about it if you didn't mention it. Hurry up and call her. Ask her what's going on." "Okay." Lin-Yi was a little nervous. What was going on with Xinyan's dizziness? He didn't want anything to happen to Xinyan. Even if he didn't consider it from a relationship perspective, Xinyan was still very useful to him. And so, Lin-Yi gave up on the idea of looking for Han Jingjing and called Xinyan directly. It didn't take long before Xinyan's lazy voice came from the other side. "Hello? Lin-Yi? It's me, Xinyan. How are you?" "I'm back. Yaya said you felt a little dizzy. Are you feeling better?" Lin-Yi asked. "I don't know what's going on. I just felt a little dizzy and I fell asleep." Xinyan rarely slept during the day, and she didn't know why she'd fallen asleep earlier. "Maybe it's the flu? Cold? Wait for me then, I'll go to school." Lin-Yi said, "Catching a cold isn't a small thing. You can't let your guard down. You might not even be able to go to class if it gets serious. It's not that serious, is it?" "I'm so sleepy," Xinyan said. "I'm in the dorm. You can't come in. Why don't you let Yao Yao and Shu pick you up? You can have dinner at my place tonight, or you can sleep at my place if you can't. I'll keep an eye on you," Lin-Yi said. He'd said it for Xinyan's sake, but he couldn't help but think about how he'd be able to hug Xinyan and train at night. He couldn't help but think about the ambiguous relationship between the two of them. I don't think it'd be too much trouble." Xinyan didn't reject it, but said that it wouldn't be too much trouble for Meng Yao and Yushu. This made Lin-Yi happy. "It's fine, it's no trouble at all." Lin-Yi said, "Then, all right, I'll clean up first. I'll be going downstairs by the time they get here." Xinyan agreed after some thought. Chapter 25:19. All right. Lin-Yi hung up and turned to Meng Yao. He was just about to say something when someone beat him to it. "See, Yao Yao? Shield Bro's forgetting his old love after finding a new one. He's treating us like errand runners. He didn't even ask us before telling Xan Yen, sis, that it's no trouble." Yushu said with a resentful look on her face. "All right, Shu, stop pretending. Isn't Wang Xinyan sick?" Meng Yao didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Besides, Weren't you the one who made her Lin Yi's first wife? Hee hee, I'm just saying it casually. Yushu smiled and lowered her voice to Meng Yao. Yao Yao, I'm fighting for your interests. Are you not going to do anything with Shield Bro in the future? I'm helping you make your presence known. All right, let's not talk about stuff like that. Meng Yao's face reddened as she coughed. Let's go find Wang Xinyan. We don't want her waiting for us, Yushu and Meng Yao mumbled as they walked out of the villa. Their voices weren't loud, but Lin Yi could still hear them clearly. He couldn't help but smile bitterly. His relationship with Meng Yao and Yushu was a little weird, wasn't it? In fact, it wasn't that Lin Yi didn't like the eldest miss, but the eldest miss's mind was erratic. Sometimes she was passionate, sometimes she was cold. When Lin Yi hooked up with other men, the eldest miss was unhappy. When Lin Yi wanted to go further with her, the eldest miss retreated. Lin Yi was afraid of scaring her, so he could only let nature take its course. Moreover, he was her follower. Stealing a young lady's mistress was a bit inappropriate no matter what, and it would damage his reputation if it was spread out. Although Lin Yi wasn't Meng Yao's bodyguard anymore, it was still a taboo in the industry. It didn't take long for Meng Yao and Yushu to return, bringing Xinyan back with them. Xinyan had combed her hair and washed her face, but Lin Yi could still see the weariness in her. Oh, Shield Bro, I've brought Xinyan Sis here. It's up to you whether you want to push her down, cure her, or train her. I'll go watch TV with Yao Yao. Yushu pushed Xinyan in front of Lin Yi. Oh, Xianyan, where are you feeling unwell? Lin Yi hesitated and said, Let's go to my room. Yeah. Xinyan humphed in a nasally voice. She followed Lin Yi into his room. Wang Xinyan had expected this to happen. She was already here. Even if Lin Yi treated her, she wouldn't be able to do so. But how could he let go of the opportunity to cultivate? Of course, Xinyan thought that Lin Yi was an honest man, and that he'd only called her here to train. He didn't have any dirty intentions. Since she was already here, Xinyan didn't put up her guard. She entered Lin Yi's room and took off her jacket before lying on Lin Yi's bed. Lin Yi wasn't in a rush to cultivate. He first checked Xinyan's pulse, but immediately after Lin Yi frowned. Lin Yi frowned. Xinyan's illness didn't seem to be the flu. There were no signs of a cold. Xinyan, other than dizziness, do you have any other symptoms? Lin Yi asked. No. What's wrong? My body. Is there something wrong? Xinyan was shocked after hearing Lin Yi's words. That's not it. Lin Yi shook his head and said, You don't have a cold, but there's nothing wrong with your body. You're just a little weak. You said before that your body hasn't been well since you were young. This should be the reason. Oh, I see. It's good that you're not sick. Xinyan sighed in relief and nodded. I'm not sick, but my body is a little too weak. Lin Yi said, How about this? I'll make you a dose of medicine. Drink it for a few days and it should be fine. Okay. Xinyan didn't reject Lin Yi's words at all. She'd do whatever he said. Then you rest well. I'm going out for a bit, Lin Yi said as he stood up and quickly left the room. Meng Yao and Yushu were watching TV in the living room when they saw Lin Yi walk out of his room, a little confused. Shield Bro, why are you out again? Yushu looked at Lin Yi, confused. I'm going to the pharmacy to get some medicine. I'll be back in a bit, Lin Yi said. Then go. Don't worry about home. I'll take care of Xinyan for you. Meng Yao said, quickly. Lin Yi nodded and quickly left the villa, driving to the biggest pharmacy nearby. Lin Yi didn't need to copy the prescription at all. He just had to say it once at the pharmacy. Xinyan only needed to nourish her body, and she didn't need too many treasures. She could buy all the medicine from a normal pharmacy. When Lin Yi got back to the villa, he saw that Xinyan had already changed into her pajamas. She was sitting on the sofa, watching TV with Meng Yao and the others listlessly. She yawned when she saw Lin Yi and said to Lin Yi lazily, Lin Yi, you're back. Thank you. What are you thanking me for, Xinyan? Go take a nap if you're sleepy. It'll take a while for me to brew the medicine. Lin Yi said, seeing that Xinyan wasn't in a good state. It's okay, I can rest here. I'll sleep after I drink the medicine, Xinyan said. All right, then sleep after you drink the medicine, Lin Yi said as he went to the kitchen to boil the medicine. Shield Bro is so considerate. Xinyan sis, don't you feel happy? Yushu whispered after Lin Yi left. Ah. Xinyan blushed. She didn't know how to answer. To be honest, she liked Lin Yi, and she was touched by what Lin Yi had done for her. But because of House Kong, House Yu, and Sky Elixir, she couldn't tell Lin Yi the truth. Don't be shy, Xinyan sis. Why are you like Yao Yao sis? You like Shield Bro, but you won't admit it. Yushu sighed. I really don't understand you two. What's going on in your head? Shu, don't talk nonsense. Why are you dragging me into this again? Meng Yao said, not in a good mood. Fine, it's hard to be a good person. But it's hard to be a good person. Yushu shrugged and went back to watching TV. Lin Yi brewed the medicine quickly and passed it to Xinyan with a smile. Xinyan, you've been waiting for a long time, haven't you? Hurry up and drink it. Chapter 25:20. Ah. Xinyan blushed a little as she took the medicine from Lin Yi's hand and started drinking it. Lin Yi's thoughts drifted to the ice palace, thousands of miles away. He thought of Xiao Xiao, his cute little wife. Was she doing well? Lin Yi hadn't heard from her in a long time, and he was starting to miss her. If it was possible, Lin Yi would go to the ice palace himself to visit her. But he couldn't do that right now. He couldn't make a third-level pill like the Ice Heart Jade Bone pill. Even if he did, crystal candy wouldn't be nice to him. So Lin Yi decided to wait until he could make a third-level pill with Han Jingjing and become a sky class. Only then would Lin Yi go to the ice palace and see if crystal candy was still his little wife. Meng Yao could guess what was on Lin Yi's mind when she saw the dazed expression on Lin Yi's face. He was probably thinking about Tang Yin. She kicked Shu. Don't talk nonsense. What's the point of saying that now? Ah. Shu paused, but she was smart enough to figure it out. She stuck her tongue out and turned to Lin Yi. It's okay. I'll help Shield Bro find another little wife. Han Jingjing looks good. She'll be a perfect match for Xinyan sis. Lin Yi was speechless. How could they be a perfect match? Xinyan was a little sleepy after drinking the medicine. Her eyelids were fighting to keep her eyelids open. Lin Yi smiled at her. Xinyan, why don't you go rest? You'll be fine after drinking the medicine. You'll be fine tomorrow. Yeah, okay. Xinyan nodded and stood up, walking to Lin Yi's room. The meaning behind this was self-evident. Xinyan didn't want to say it out loud, but her actions made it clear. She was supposed to sleep with Meng Yao and Yushu, but she chose to sleep in Lin Yi's room instead. It didn't matter if it was just to help Lin Yi with his training. This was a clear sign that Xinyan liked Lin Yi, and Meng Yao could see that. Yushu could see it, and so could Lin Yi. But they all understood that Xinyan might have some concerns in her heart, and Lin Yi was trying to help her with that as well, but to no avail. Hurry up, Shield Bro, what are you waiting for? Yushu urged after seeing that Lin Yi didn't follow them into the room. Then, I'll go to bed first. Lin Yi was a little embarrassed. Shu, I'm sleepy too. Let's go get some sleep. Meng Yao yawned as she turned off the TV. But I'm not sleepy. Yushu's eyes were wide open. Are you sleepy? Meng Yao pinched Yushu. Ugh. Yushu felt the pain. I'm more awake now. What about now? Meng Yao pinched even harder. Now, I'm sleepy, all right? I'm going to sleep. Yushu said with a grimace. Go to sleep if you're sleepy. Meng Yao dragged Yushu upstairs. Lin Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry as he watched the two leave, but he was grateful for the misunderstanding. Lin Yi was sleeping with Xinyan to increase his strength, and Meng Yao was very supportive of the situation. When they got back to the room, Lin Yi found that Xinyan was already asleep. lying on the bed with a sweet smile on her pretty face. She looked very calm and at ease. Lin Yi didn't think that Xin Yan would fall asleep so easily in his bed. It seemed that Xin Yan really believed that he wouldn't do anything inappropriate to her. Lin Yi didn't waste any time. Xin Yan was being so generous, so there was no reason for him to be so unreasonable. He got on the bed and pulled Xin Yan into his arms, channeling the second stage of the art of dragon mastery. Xin Yan felt as if she could feel Lin Yi's embrace. The corner of her mouth moved a little, but she was still sleeping soundly. Lin Yi let out a sigh of relief. It was a quiet night, and Xin Yan slept very well. She slept from 6 o'clock all the way until the sun rose. She only opened her eyes at 6 the next morning. She slept for a whole 12 hours. Xin Yan woke up to find herself in Lin Yi's arms. Lin Yi was very well behaved and didn't touch any sensitive parts of her body, but it was still enough to make Xin Yan sigh a little. She'd always wanted to keep her distance from Lin Yi, but she'd still been touched enough to sleep with Lin Yi last night. She hadn't thought much about it last night, but she couldn't help but think about a lot of things when she woke up today. If she were to keep this up with Lin Yi, then Xin Yan didn't dare to think about it. "You're awake?" Lin Yi asked, coming back to reality from the jade space after noticing Xin Yan's movements. "Yeah." Xin Yan nodded as she tried to struggle out of Lin Yi's embrace, but the little bunny on her chest accidentally rubbed against Lin Yi's arm. "Ah." Xin Yan let out a squeal. "Ah. Ugh. I didn't do it on purpose." Lin Yi blinked, smiling bitterly. "It's not your fault." Xin Yan was even more embarrassed, but she felt that Lin Yi's arm wasn't going to loosen up yet. He was still on top of her rabbit. She was a little embarrassed. "You're still not letting go." "Ugh. Okay, I forgot." Lin Yi loosened his arm unwillingly. Xin Yan glared at Lin Yi, annoyed. "Don't push your luck. I really didn't do it on purpose. Plus, you were the one who moved." Lin Yi was speechless. "Stop it." Xin Yan's face turned even redder as she turned her head away, not daring to look at Lin Yi. "All right, I'll stop. Thank you, Xin Yan." Lin Yi thanked her from the bottom of his heart. "It's nothing. If it weren't for you taking care of me, I wouldn't have recovered yet." Xin Yan thought back to how Lin Yi had been busy making medicine for her yesterday, and her embarrassment towards Lin Yi lessened quite a bit. She hesitated, but still decided to speak up. "Lin Yi, can you not tell anyone about what happened yesterday?" "Yesterday? What happened?" Lin Yi blinked, not understanding what Xin Yan was talking about. It's about us sleeping together." Xin Yan stuttered. Chapter 25-21. You're not planning on showing off, are you?" Xin Yan said, surprised at the look on Lin Yi's face. She knew that some guys were bored going to school after sleeping with their girlfriends. Of course, if they slept with a female classmate who wasn't their girlfriend, then they'd boast even more about how amazing they were. Ugh, am I that kind of person? Lin Yi didn't know if he should laugh or cry. If I were that shallow, I'd just say that I'm living with 3 school beauties. Xin Yan thought about it and agreed. Lin Yi wasn't that kind of person, was he? She wasn't worried about Lin Yi telling everyone that he slept with her, but she was worried that Zhao Long would hear about it and Zhao Long would ask the Sky Elixir sect for help against Lin Yi. After all, they slept together during military training, and that was with their clothes on with many classmates around them. Sleeping in Lin Yi's villa was a different story. Who would believe that they didn't do anything? You're right, I was thinking too much. Xin Yan nodded. But I feel a lot better after a nap. Then come sleep with me tonight. Lin invited. I'm fine now, right? Xin Yan said, a little flustered at Lin Yi's blatant invitation. I bought a course of medicine. I need to consolidate it. You're weak, not sick. Lin Yi said seriously. Then, all right, but how long? Not too long. Mei Wei and Ling will get suspicious if I don't stay in the dorms for a long time. Xin Yan agreed after some hesitation, but she was still a little worried. Just a week. Lin Yi felt a little regretful. Xinyan still couldn't let go of her worries, it seemed. All right. Xinyan nodded, agreeing to it. I'll go make breakfast then. You sleep a bit more, Lin Yi said as he stood up. Do you need my help? Xinyan asked. No need. Lin Yi smiled and walked out of the room. Lin Yi made breakfast with ease. Grandma Sun and Faubert left, and Lin Yi became the Mrs. Valet again. Well, now he was the valet of the 4 misses, including Han Jingjing. Lin Yi called Meng Yao and Yu Shu downstairs after making breakfast. He then called Han Jingjing and told her to bring Han Xiaoqiao over. Shu's starving. I haven't eaten anything since last night. Yao Yao's so mean. I'm starving to death in the middle of the night. I wanted to ask Shield Bro to make me something to eat, but Yao Yao wouldn't let me. She even forced me to sleep, telling me that I wouldn't be hungry if I fell asleep. Yushu complained as she went downstairs. Ugh. Lin Yi didn't expect the mist to have such a funny side to her. Haha, in the end, Shu had a dream the whole night, dreaming that there was a piece of shark meat in front of her, but she couldn't eat it no matter what. Yushu said as she sat down at the table and started munching on a fried cake. It's not as good as shark meat, but it's still good enough. Shield Bro's breakfast is really good. Can you shut your mouth with food? Meng Yao glared at Yushu. Eat it if you're hungry. Why are you wasting time? Are you an old lady? Yushu stopped talking and started devouring the food in front of her. Xinyan only realized then that this villa was filled with joy. Yushu was a jokester, and a few words from her could make people laugh out loud. Han Jingjing came with Han Xiaoqiao soon, and Xinyan was there as well. Han Jingjing was an exception, but she didn't ask. After breakfast, the 6 went to school together in Lin Yi's 7-seater Cherokee. What Lin Yi didn't expect, however, was that Lin Yi ran into someone he didn't want to see early in the morning. It was Pin Liang. Pin Liang had just arrived at school with Xiaofu. The 2 of them lived on campus, but the environment wasn't as good as the outside. As soon as they arrived, they rented an apartment near the school and stayed there every night. Pin Liang's eyes were about to spit fire when he saw Lin Yi and Meng Yao get out of the car. Pin Liang cursed inwardly. Look at you, Lin Yi. There are so many beauties around you, and you're only giving Meng Yao to me? However, Pin Liang was still very magnanimous in front of Meng Yao. He walked up to them. Isn't this Yao Yao and Shu? Lin Yi, it's been hard being a bodyguard for you. If you're tired, just let me *CKU. You're a loser and you're still talking big? You lost 1,000 kwai to me yesterday. Why don't you remember? Lin Yi looked at Pin Liang mockingly. I say, Pin Liang, you went to the everyday and everyday sect. Why don't you remember? Your follower Zhang Naipeo got beaten up by me, and you want to follow in his footsteps? Ah. Pin Liang laughed at Lin Yi's words. I say, Lin Yi, didn't you beat me yesterday? But I'm perfectly fine. Look at me now. Do I look like I'm injured? Not only can I run, but I can also jump. Look at how agile I am. Are you a monkey? Lin Yi asked as he looked at the bouncing Pin Liang. Don't talk about useless things. Pin Liang didn't mind at all. He waved his hand. Lin Yi, since we've met here, I won't waste my time looking for you. I, Pin Liang, hereby announce that I'm officially challenging you for the position of Meng Yao's personal bodyguard. What do you think? Do you dare accept? Accept? What's in it for you? The position is yours if you lose, but you get nothing if you win? Do you think everyone's as stupid as you? Lin Yi curled his lips in disdain. Then what do you think I should do? What would make you accept my challenge? Pin Liang paused. But I think you're probably afraid to accept my challenge because you're afraid of losing. You couldn't do anything to me yesterday, and it'll be the same today. I didn't even want to fight you yesterday. We're old classmates after all. I didn't even kill Zhang Naipeo, so why would I kill you? If I wanted to kill you, you'd be dead already. Why would I wait until now? Lin Yi said mockingly. Phut! Stop bullshitting, just say it. Do you dare accept my challenge? Pin Liang panicked. I can accept the challenge. It's not that I can't, but there should be some stakes, right? Lin Yi said. If I lose, I'll give the position to you. If you lose, you have to give me something, right? What do you want? Pin Liang asked. Chapter 25-22. Wah. Who said I'm done? Pin Liang's heart skipped a beat as he covered his chest subconsciously. Who said my underwear? What underwear? Lin Yi looked at Pin Liang, stunned. I'm talking about that metal rod. Don't you use it to beat people up all the time? Do I even need to tell you? Oh, you're talking about the metal rod. Pin Liang breathed out in relief. He thought that Lin Yi was talking about his mid-level golden cicada underwear, and he was afraid that Lin Yi would know his secret. It was fine as long as it wasn't the mid-level golden cicada underwear. It seemed like Lin Yi didn't know his secret yet. As for the steel rod, it wasn't a bad idea to use it as a wager. After all, Pin Liang didn't think that Lin Yi had the ability to beat him. As long as he set the rules, he wasn't afraid of Lin Yi. What, you don't want to? Lin Yi found the look on Pin Liang's face funny. Says who? I'm just worried that you won't be able to win. Pin Liang waved his hand generously. All right, we'll use my metal rod as the wager. If you win, you take it. If you lose, you'll have to give up your spot. What do you think? All right, it's a deal. Lin Yi nodded. All right, Yao Yao, Shu, you guys are listening on the sidelines. You guys can be witnesses. This afternoon, we'll still be at the field where the arena was. We'll have a personal trainer competition. Pin Liang said. All right, Liang Yi, I'm rooting for you, but I'm rooting for Shield Bro too. Yushu's nonsense made Pin Liang depressed. He was happy with the first half of the sentence, but the second half made him realize that Yushu wasn't helping either side. Pin Liang, however, thought that this was a good thing. Yushu had always been biased towards Lin Yi, treating him as an enemy. Now that she was treating him the same, it meant that she'd improved. Pin Liang was happy again. All right, noon it is then. Lin Yi replied. Yao Yao, is your cold better? Pin Liang and Lin Yi agreed on a time for the match, and he shifted the topic back to Meng Yao. Much better, I'm fine now. Meng Yao nodded. Then at noon, you must come and watch the competition between me and Lin Yi. At that time, Yao Yao, you will see it with your own eyes. Then you will know who is the most competent bodyguard. Pin Liang said. The most important thing for a bodyguard is to be able to take a beating. Taking a beating for the employer is the only way to protect the employer. Don't worry, Xiao Liangzi. I will bring Sister Yao Yao to watch the battle. Yushu gave Pin Liang a don't worry look before whispering, but you need to try your best. Don't drop the ball at the critical moment. I won't be able to help you if you really lose. No problem, Shu sis. Don't worry, I won't disappoint you. I'll definitely win. Pin Liang was filled with confidence after hearing Yushu's words. He felt very refreshed from head to toe. The group split up in the parking lot. Lin Yi, Han Jingjing, and Xinyan went to the biology building together, while Meng Yao, Yushu, and Han Xiaoqiao went to the economics building. Pin Liang, on the other hand, had already come to school, but a self-funded student like him was only here to get a diploma. It didn't matter if he went to class or not. He went straight to the dorm with Xiaofu to prepare for the competition at noon. Jing, I've sold all those elixirs, and I've contacted another supplier. If it's possible, we will make more elixirs for sale. Lin Yi didn't hide anything from Xinyan and told Han Jingjing directly. Sure, but Jingjing's alchemy skills are limited. Without Lin Yi Bro's help, I won't be able to make that many elixirs. Han Jingjing said, It's fine, I'll help you. Lin Yi nodded. The three didn't say anything else and entered the classroom. Right Panhu and Zhao Long watched Lin Yi walk in with Han Jingjing and Xinyan. Anger flashed in their eyes, but they were smart enough not to cause trouble for Lin Yi. The two of them had placed their hopes on Pin Liang to cause trouble for Lin Yi. Pin Liang didn't do anything to Lin Yi yesterday, but Lin Yi didn't do anything to Pin Liang either. This meant that Lin Yi wasn't invincible yet. They had high hopes for Pin Liang, hoping that he could surprise them. "What a coward!" Xiaolong said in a low voice. "I'm the elder brother of the Sky Elixir Sex Heir, but I have to suffer like this every day, watching my fiancé get close to another man. I can't do anything about it." "There's nothing we can do, Brother Kong. Just bear with it. Don't talk about cowardice. Our hidden house you is even more cowardly," right Pan Hu said gloomily. "We went to the practitioner's market to buy things in the hidden house you. But not only did Lin Yi get the things first, but Lin Yi also stole the elixir money." Right Pan Hu already knew that the third brother of the right was stolen by Lin Yi. He felt depressed about it. Even old Yu didn't say anything. But right Pan Hu felt it was unfair, seeing Lin Yi getting more and more domineering and gaining more and more power in the hidden houses. Right Pan Hu was shocked. He'd had to rely on the Ice Palace's support to get a place in the hidden house during Elder Tang's birthday banquet, didn't he? But now, a few months had passed in the blink of an eye, and Lin Yi alone was enough to strike fear into the hearts of the hidden houses. Especially the Sky class skill that Lin Yi used on the stage yesterday. It made right Pan Hu's jaw drop. With that kind of power, not just the third brother of the right, any Sky class master in the hidden house, you wouldn't be able to take it. It could be said that whoever was hit would be crippled. "Can't we deal with this kid?" Xiaolong was very sullen. He never had a good time with Lin Yi. House Kong had always been suppressed by Lin Yi, and they never had a chance to turn things around. "Even if we don't deal with him now, someone else will deal with him for us. Why not?" Right Pan Hu shook his head. "Since the disciples of the Everyday and Everyday sect are involved, let him deal with it. The Everyday and Everyday sect isn't weaker than the Sky Elixir sect. In fact, they're even more evil." "That's true. I hope Zhong Pingliang won't disappoint us." Xiaolong nodded. Lin Yi spent the entire morning practicing, and Pin Liang, on the other hand, was already at the school. Chapter 25-23. Xiaolong was also the first to receive the news. He looked at his phone and laughed. Lil, right, you're right. Pin Liang really doesn't want to be left out. He's going to challenge Lin Yi this afternoon. See, that's what I said. We'll just wait and see. There's someone helping us take care of Lin Yi for now, so we don't have to do anything. Pan Hu right said proudly. We'll go watch at noon. Of course we have to. Xiaolong agreed. After lunch, it was almost 12. A large number of students gathered near the gymnasium. The student council even sent some of their members to maintain order. Sparring between students wasn't forbidden by the school. It was one of the extracurricular activities. As long as both parties didn't cross the line, the school wouldn't interfere. After all, martial arts clubs, boxing clubs, taekwondo clubs, and so on often competed and sparred with each other. Pin Liang was already standing on the stage, and Xiaofu was busy setting up the banners. The theme of today's banners was bodyguard battle. It looked a little silly, but it was a synonym for romance in a university. Someone was playing a guitar and setting up a flower formation in front of the girls' dorm, but it was romantic. Most of them failed, but there were some who succeeded and touched the goddess of their hearts. Of course, Pin Liang did this on purpose. The goal was to create a difference from yesterday. If someone were to bring up yesterday's incident, wouldn't that mean he was cheating? He couldn't explain himself. Fuck, it's 12:20 already. Why isn't Lin Yi here yet? Pin Liang looked at his watch and mumbled. I bought a watch last year. At the beginning, Pin Liang stood on the stage with his hands behind his back, looking cool and cool. But that was under the assumption that Lin Yi would arrive soon. Pin Liang had been standing on the stage for more than 20 minutes now. Even if he wasn't tired himself, the students below the stage were starting to get tired. Was he trying to act cool for them to see? Liang bro, didn't we agree on 12:30? There's still 10 minutes left. Xiaofu said quickly. F*ck, if I knew this would happen, I wouldn't have come so early. Pinliang was a little depressed. He found a chair and sat down, not boasting anymore as he waited for Linny. However, just as he sat down on the chair, he discovered that a figure had appeared in front of him with a leap. He had arrived. He was standing in the arena, looking down at Pinliang. Liangzi, you're quite comfortable here, right? Resting before the battle? He said after seeing Pinliang sit down. He'd probably tormented him a little. F*ck. Pinliang almost exploded when he saw Linny. This guy didn't come when he was acting cool, but came when he was sitting down? What was the meaning of this? Was this a scam? Pinliang, however, saw that Meng Yao and Yushu were here as well. He didn't want to lose face and argue with Lin about pointless stuff like that, so he stood up. I'm the host, so it's normal for me to come first. It's no big deal. Let's begin then. How are we going to compete? What do you think? My time is limited, and I need to go rest after I'm done with you. Lin smiled, but Pinliang felt like he was asking for a beating. The rules are simple. We have half an hour from now until class starts at 1. We'll fight within that time, and whoever can beat the other up. Yes, until the other vomits blood and can't get up, that's the winner. Pinliang made sure to set the conditions. You have to vomit blood. That's it. Lin smiled and nodded. All right, I'll make sure you vomit blood. Ugh. Why did Pinliang feel like Lin wasn't afraid at all? That shouldn't be the case. Did he think of some killer move again? Pinliang suddenly thought of Zhang Naipeo. Was Lin planning to use some killer move today? No, even if it was a killer move, his mid-tier golden cicada underwear could defend against it. But, just to be safe, Pinliang added another condition. Of course, we can't kill each other. We're in school and we can't kill each other. Don't worry. Just say it if you're afraid of dying. I'm not stupid enough to kill you in front of everyone. Lin curled his lips. Naturally, Lin wouldn't kill Pinliang in school. Even if there was no one around, Lin wouldn't kill him. Lin wasn't a reckless person. Lin Yi's current strength was only enough to fight against the hidden houses. He was much stronger than before, but there was still a huge gap between him and the ancient sections. So, Lin didn't want to mess with people from the ancient sects for now. I'm doing this for your own good, Pinliang said shamelessly. All right, let's begin. Everyone be a witness. Whoever beats the other up until they vomit blood is the winner. Otherwise, you won't win even if you get knocked down 100 times. Many of the spectators had seen Pinliang's match before, and they knew what he was capable of. Even if he was knocked down, he wouldn't get hurt at all. They started whispering to each other, cursing Pinliang's incompetence. This guy was obviously very tanky, but why did he have to make such a ridiculous request? Although Lin had beaten Pinliang yesterday, he was still a long way from beating him up until he vomited blood. But Pinliang didn't care what these people thought. What they thought had nothing to do with him. He only cared about Meng Yao and Yushu's thoughts. When he saw that Meng Yao and Yushu didn't reject his suggestion, he relaxed. It seemed like the relationship between Meng Yao, Yushu, and Lin wasn't as solid as he thought. Maybe there was a crack in their relationship, and that was why his plan went so smoothly. It seemed like as long as he beat Lin it would be easy for him to replace Lin. Then I'll begin, Lin said as he punched at Pinliang. This time, Lin didn't use any skills at all. He only used his normal strength to punch at Pinliang. His low-tier golden cicada undershirt could only defend against attacks from people below Earth class. Earth class masters couldn't defend against them, so Lin only needed to hit him normally to cripple Pinliang. Chapter 25-24. Bang! Pinliang took a punch from Lin gritting his teeth as he stared at Lin in shock. You. How is that possible? How could you hurt me? Pin Liang cried out in shock. Of course you're talking nonsense. You're just standing there and letting me hit you. How can it not hurt? Do you think that's realistic? Lin Yi asked back. But Pin Liang didn't even get a chance to ask before Lin Yi's fist came flying at him again. Bang! Ouch! Pin Liang cried out in pain as he took 2 steps back, falling on his butt. Pin Liang was wearing the low-grade golden cicada undershirt, but it was useless against Lin Yi, so a simple punch from Lin Yi was enough to make Pin Liang cry for his mom and dad. After all, the golden cicada undershirt's defense was strictly based on the level of chi used. It didn't matter how strong the attack was as long as it was below Earth class. It would be able to defend against it. On the other hand, even a light punch with Earth class chi wouldn't be able to defend against it. And that was exactly what Pin Liang was facing right now. Lin Yi walked over and kicked Pin Liang's butt again, sending him sprawling on the ground. Impossible, this is impossible. Pin Liang crawled up from the ground and looked at Lin Yi in disbelief. Aren't you in Earth class? Lin Yi ignored him and kicked Pin Liang's crotch again. Pin Liang cried out again as he clutched his balls and knelt on the ground, moaning and sweating profusely. Lin Yi, you're so sneaky. You can't do anything sneaky. Xiaofu called out when he saw Pin Liang in trouble. TCH, what's sneaky? Didn't we agree before? You just have to beat the guy until he coughs up blood. There's no rule against that. Bai Weituo retorted. Gao Xiaofu immediately shut his mouth. He was speechless. Pin Liang, on the other hand, yelled for a long time before crawling up, clutching his balls. Lin, you're a sky class? Bang! Pin Liang was answered with another kick. The kick landed squarely on Pin Liang's head. It wasn't enough to kill him, but it was enough to make him see stars. Pin Liang didn't even have time to react before Lin Yi kicked him again. Lin Yi didn't want to kill him, so it was too easy to make him suffer. Lin Yi was annoyed just looking at this guy, even though it was true that he liked Meng Yao. But this person's mentality had already reached a twisted and extreme point. How could Lin Yi sympathize with such a person who could kidnap and was just short of rape? If he was as normal as Qin Yutian and Qin Tian, Lin Yi wouldn't mind giving him a fair fight. But this guy wasn't normal, and Lin Yi had no choice but to use abnormal methods to deal with him. Either his golden cicada undergarment had lost its effect, or Lin Yi had become a heaven stage expert. However, no matter which guess it was a little unrealistic. Pin Liang couldn't accept it. The golden cicada undergarment was a treasure bestowed upon him by the pure yang, heavenly venerable of the everyday and everyday sect. How could it fail? Moreover, it had been working well before. Why was it suddenly not working today? It didn't make sense at all. Yesterday, Lin Yi was still helpless against his underwear. Pin Liang also couldn't accept that Lin Yi had become an Earth class in one day. Lin Yi was still an Earth class mid-phase peak yesterday, and now he was an Earth class late phase? Pin Liang believed it, even when he was an Earth class late phase peak. Pin Liang still believed it, but reaching Sky class in one day, it was something Pin Liang couldn't accept. What kind of speed was this? Wasn't it too fast? With this speed, even if Lin Yi reached Heaven class late phase peak, Zhang Naipeo still wouldn't be able to take revenge. They couldn't hope for revenge in this lifetime. Stop. I give up. Pin Liang was on the verge of tears. Lin Yi's methods were very skillful. Pin Liang was in a lot of pain, but it didn't cause any internal injuries. Lin Yi was a doctor, and he had a deep understanding of the weak parts of the human body that weren't fatal. That was why Pin Liang was in such a tragic situation. And so, Pin Liang didn't care about winning or losing right now. He was about to be tortured to death by Lin Yi, and he'd embarrassed himself enough. He knew that Lin Yi could easily injure him now. As long as he broke his golden cicada undergarment, Lin Yi could easily kill him. Pin Liang Guess that he didn't go all out because he was purposely torturing him, waiting for him to break down before giving him a heavy blow. As such, Pinliang might as well just admit defeat. Pinliang was curious as to how He had managed to break his golden cicada undershirt, but that wasn't important anymore. The outcome was already decided, and he had no choice but to give up, no matter how unwilling he was. "Oh, you haven't vomited blood yet. The match isn't over yet." Yi sent another kick at Pinliang's butt. "According to our agreement, you'll only lose if you beat the other party up until they're coughing up blood and can't get up. You haven't coughed up blood and can't get up yet, so you can't." "Fuck." Pinliang clenched his teeth and bit his lip, spitting out a mouthful of blood. He lay on the ground and yelled, "I vomited blood and I can't get up. Is that okay?" Pinliang's actions were met with disdain from the students below the stage. They weren't idiots. How could Pinliang vomit blood? It was only his lip that was bleeding. Wasn't this guy too shameless just because he was afraid of getting beaten up? Xiaofu was dumbfounded as well. What was going on? Wasn't Pinliang supposed to win according to their plan? How did he lose? "Xiaofu, what are you looking at? Hurry up and announce the results. What are you doing?" Pinliang reminded Xiaofu when he saw him staring blankly off in the middle of the arena. Oh. Xiaofu came back to his senses and yelled, "I hereby announce that Pinliang wins." What the F***CK? That's cheating. He vomited blood and he still won. Are you kidding me? Even if there's someone behind the scenes, this can't happen. Do you think we're blind or stupid? Pinliang, since Xiaofu said you won, let's continue. He raised his right leg, ready to kick Pinliang. Chapter 25. No, Lin won, I was wrong. Xiaofu quickly changed his words, realizing that he'd said the result in his mind, but the result was completely different from what he'd expected. If that's the case, then I'll be leaving. Congratulations, Liangzi, you failed. Yi smiled mockingly. Where's the rod? Ugh, that's... Pinliang's heart skipped a beat as he remembered the bet he made with Yi. Pinliang didn't think it was possible for him to lose the match, so he agreed without a second thought when Yi asked him to use the rod as a stake. Now, however, he wasn't willing to lose it to Yi. What? You want to go back on your word? Yi's eyes turned cold as he lowered his voice and whispered into Pinliang's ear. You keep your promise and I'll keep mine. If you don't, then you'll have to be careful tonight. Don't get robbed. You'll lose your rod and you'll get killed as well. Pinliang's eyes turned cold. Pinliang was startled. That was right. He wasn't just any normal person. He was someone who'd even cut out Jiang Wen's kidney. If Pinliang broke his word, then he'd be in real danger. Of course, he didn't know that Yi had reservations about killing him. From Pinliang's point of view, Yi was someone who didn't care about anything. After fighting the noble houses, he went on to fight the hidden houses. Even the ancient sects Zhang Naipeo and Feng Nitian were crippled by him. What did Pinliang have to make Yi worry about him? It was impossible. Yi could crush him like an ant. And so, Pinliang compromised. He took a deep breath and said to Xiaofu, "Xiaofu, give it to him." Okay. Xiaofu was a little heartbroken, but he didn't dare disobey Pinliang's order. He didn't dare go against Yi either, so he quickly passed the rod to Yi. Yi took the rod with satisfaction and jumped off the stage, walking towards Mengyao and Yushu. Oh, Shield Bro is the best. Liangzi, you disappoint me. It seems like you're still not good enough. Yushu looked at Pinliang with pity. Pinliang's vision darkened, and he almost fainted. It was over. He'd lost his chance. In his mind, Yushu had really supported him before. But now that he had wasted the opportunity, Yushu was a little disappointed in him. Yushu was an important middleman for him to chase after Mengyao, to become Mengyao's bodyguard. If Yushu were to give up and not help him, Then he'd be in big trouble. Let's go back to class. The miss was still a woman of few words in front of outsiders. She only said those 6 words faintly before turning around and leaving with Yushu. But when she turned around, Lin Yi saw the trace of a smile on the miss lips. Haha, the miss was still the Mississippi. This kind of personality made Lin Yi feel warm. He said goodbye to Bai Wei Tuo, and the two walked towards the biology building. Wang Xingyan didn't join in the fun at all. She was taking an afternoon nap in the classroom. She didn't know why, but she was sleeping a lot more than usual. She was a little confused, but she didn't think too much about it. Wait. Pin Liang stood up and called out to Lin Yi. Lin Yi, let's fight again if you dare. What else do you want? Lin Yi asked, carrying the rod. I lost because I didn't use my weapon. That black iron staff is my ultimate weapon. I was tricked by you and used it as a wager. But if I use it as a weapon, I can definitely beat you. That wasn't what Pin Liang was thinking at all. He was thinking that Lin Yi wouldn't be able to beat him up even if he coughed up blood. So he didn't need the steel rod at all. Beating Lin Yi like how he'd beaten Tiger Right and Pin Liang with a steel rod in front of everyone was too bloody, and the school would definitely intervene. It wouldn't be a fair fight either, so Pin Liang didn't use it. How could he have known that Lin Yi would be able to tear through his mid-level golden cicada underwear? Pin Liang was both shocked and angered, and he couldn't care less anymore. If he didn't do something soon, Yushu was going to give up on him. He had no choice but to walk forward and act shamelessly again. Oh, it looks like you won't be satisfied if I don't fight you again, right? Lin Yi turned to Pin Liang and asked faintly. Of course. You attacked me before, so it's my turn to attack you now. Pin Liang said. All right then. Since you want to get beaten up again, I'll fulfill your wish. Lin Yi jumped up again and threw the rod to Pin Liang. Tell me, what are the rules this time? The rules this time are whoever begs first loses. What do you think? Pin Liang had the rod in his hand, and he was confident that he could beat Lin Yi until he begged for mercy. From what he could see, wasn't Tiger Right and Chi Bing the same? Oh, all right, but what's the stake this time? Lin Yi asked. It's the same as before. If I win, I'll replace you and become Yao Yao's bodyguard. If you win, you take this rod away. Pin Liang said. Are you out of your mind? This mystic steel rod is mine now, but I'm lending it to you out of pity. Do you really think it's yours now? Lin Yi smiled coldly at Pin Liang. Aye. Pin Liang paused. He thought about it carefully and realized that it was true. Then, I don't have any treasures to lose to you. What do you say? How about this? If you lose, you'll announce on this stage that you won't harass Meng Yao anymore. What do you think? Lin Yi asked. No, absolutely not. Pin Liang hesitated, but his attitude was surprisingly firm. I'd rather die than be humiliated. I can't agree to this condition. Lin Yi was speechless. He didn't expect Pin Liang to have a bottom line. How about this? I'll leave if I lose. Pin Liang played a trick. He said he'd leave, but he didn't say he wouldn't come back. All right. Of course. Lin Yi could see the loophole in his words, but he didn't want to argue with him. The sooner the fight was over, the better. Wouldn't Zhaolong's promise be worthless? Even if Pin Liang promised, Lin Yi couldn't do anything about it. Shameless people were invincible. Shall we begin? Pin Liang asked. Chapter 25-26. Wah! Pin Liang immediately started spinning the steel rod in his hand, covering his entire body with it. Pin Liang didn't have much strength, but he was very good at using the mystical steel rod. He covered all the weak points on his body, and Lin Yi couldn't hit him at all. Lin Yi couldn't help but be amused by Pin Liang's reaction. The kid really did have some talent, using defense as offense to close in on him. But was this mystical steel rod really that good? Lin Yi didn't have the chance to test it out when he held the steel rod in his hand, but from the looks of it, Pin Liang was very confident. Lin Yi threw a punch at Pin Liang, but Pin Liang didn't back down. He swung the steel rod at Lin Yi's arm. Bang! The steel rod smashed into Lin Yi's arm, while Lin Yi's fist smashed into Pin Liang's chest. Lin Yi's punch was just a test, and it wasn't much different from before, so Pin Liang could still take it. Pin Liang gritted his teeth and threw the steel rod at Lin Yi with all his might, one strike after another. Bang, bang, bang! Lin Yi grimaced in pain from Pin Liang's attacks and couldn't help but take 2 steps back. Pin Liang's steel rod was really good, able to break through a practitioner's chi protection. Of course, he didn't know if it was effective against a sky class, but an earth class Lin Yi couldn't defend against it. Of course, the steel rod couldn't do too much damage to Lin Yi. It couldn't kill him, but if he took too many hits, he would definitely get hurt. Lin Yi couldn't use his chi to defend himself, and could only take the hits passively. Although if Lin Yi clenched his teeth, he could kill Pin Liang quickly. But Lin Yi's goal wasn't to kill Pin Liang. He just wanted to teach him a lesson. But he couldn't do that now. Lin Yi couldn't keep punching Pin Liang like before. If he did that, he would definitely get beaten up. Lin Yi frowned. Although Lin Yi used the 2nd stage of the art of dragon mastery to heal him, Lin Yi still didn't want to be a human punching bag and get beaten up like an idiot. Lin Yi hesitated for a moment before compressing a small chi bomb and throwing it at Pin Liang. Lin Yi could fire this type of bomb instantly, and it wouldn't do much damage. Pin Liang was charging forward with the rod when he felt something hit his leg. It was actually the chi bomb that exploded on his leg. And so, Pin Liang stumbled and fell to the ground. Lin Yi strode over and kicked the acupoint on Pin Liang's wrist. Pin Liang's grip loosened, and the steel rod fell to the side. Ah! Originally, the students below the stage thought that Pin Liang could turn the tables after seeing his bravery. Even Xiaofu thought that he was almost going to win this time. But what they didn't expect was that Pin Liang was beaten to the ground after a few moves, and Lin Yi gave him a good kick. Yushu and Meng Yao, on the other hand, watched the stage calmly. They knew that even if Pin Liang had the steel rod, it wouldn't be able to do anything to Lin Yi. The rod could break through a practitioner's chi protection, but with Pin Liang's strength, he still had the strength of a normal person. It was still the power of an ordinary person. It was certain that they could hurt Lin Yi, but Lin Yi could heal himself. Unlike Zhao Qibing and Right Coiling Tiger, Lin Yi's counterattack was effective, and their counterattacks were ineffective. Therefore, Zhong Pingliang was doomed to a tragic end. Even if Lin Yi didn't use the mini chi bomb, he could still beat the crap out of Zhong Pingliang. It was just that he'd have to pay the price. Io, stop hitting me. Stop. I admit defeat, okay? Pin Liang said helplessly. Oh, you really lost this time, right? You won't regret it, will you? Lin Yi stopped beating Pin Liang. No, I really lost. Pin Liang nodded and climbed up from the ground. He handed the steel rod to Lin Yi. You can have it, I lost. Lin Yi nodded and jumped off the stage with the steel rod. Lin Yi left, and so did Meng Yao and Yushu. Soon, the others dispersed as well. Pin Liang climbed up from the stage after Lin Yi was gone. He wasn't hurt at all. Lin Yi had held back when he hit him, and Pin Liang could feel it. He blamed it on Lin Yi not wanting to cause too much bloodshed in the school. Right Coiling Tiger, wait. Pin Liang called out to Coiling Tiger, Zhao Long, Yellow Hair, and Purple Hair who were about to leave. Liang bro, what are you doing? Pin Liang had just been taught a lesson by Lin Yi, but Coiling Tiger wasn't Lin Yi. He didn't have the right to be arrogant in front of Pin Liang, so he stopped and turned around with a smile. But he was cursing in his heart. Pin Liang, you look like you're strong, but didn't you get beaten up by Lin Yi until you cried for your mom and dad? What the hell? You can only show off in front of weaklings like us, but when you're in front of Lin Yi, you still have to admit defeat. Bully the weak and fear the strong. Fighting with Lin Yi. He wasn't as strong as before, and his weapon wasn't as good as before. How embarrassing! He and Jiaolong had placed their hopes on Pinliang to take care of Lin Yi. Purple hair, you're the strongest, right? Come here and beat me up. Pinliang pointed at Purple Hair. Ah, me. Beat you up? Purple Hair's eyes widened as he dug his ears, thinking that he heard wrong. Liang bro, what are you saying? Are you kidding me? Of course, I'm not in the mood to joke with you. Hurry up, come and beat me up, Pinliang ordered. I. Purple Hair hesitated. He didn't know what Pinliang meant. Was he messing with him, or did he really want to get beaten up? Liang bro, what do you mean? Explain yourself, or else Purple Hair wouldn't dare hit you. Coiling Tiger left had no choice but to ask for his subordinate. Nothing. I'm just trying to see if I can defend against his attacks, Pinliang said. Come, hit me a few times. Stop when I tell you to stop. Oh, Coiling Tiger left hesitated and said to Purple Hair. Then go, try it. All right. Purple Hair nodded and walked in front of Pinliang. He stretched out his fist and tried hitting Pinliang. Chapter 25-27. All right, I'll hit you then. Although the Purple Hair didn't use his full strength in that punch, he still used 30 to 40% of his strength. But Pinliang didn't seem to be affected at all. The Purple Hair didn't hold back and quickly punched Pinliang's body with a bang. Harder, keep hitting. Pinliang didn't feel anything and continued to order. Oh, Purple Hair was now sure that Pinliang wasn't afraid of beating him up and was here to beat him up. Although he knew that beating him up was pointless, he was still pissed off after being taught a lesson by Pinliang earlier. Hence, with the resentment in his heart, Purple Hair hit harder and harder. Right Coiling Tiger and Blondie watched enviously. They were also victims in the past. Right Coiling Tiger asked enviously, Brother Liang, why don't Blondie and I try hitting you too? Go ahead. Pinliang nodded without hesitation. He wanted to see how strong he was, so he agreed without hesitation. Right Coiling Tiger and Yellow Hair were overjoyed, and together with Purple Hair, they started hitting Pinliang from all sides. However, their hands were hurting, but Pinliang was still fine, as if he wasn't hurt at all. Pan Hu Yu, Purple Hair, and Yellow Hair, on the other hand, were exhausted. They used all their strength, but couldn't do anything to Pinliang. That's enough. Stop fighting. Stop fighting. Pinliang waved his hand. His golden cicada underwear didn't work. So why didn't it work on Lin Yi? Oh, it's all right. All right. Right Coiling Tiger reluctantly stopped. Purple Hair and Yellow Hair also reluctantly stopped. Although they were exhausted from beating people up and their hands were sore, it felt good. They were happy in their hearts. All right, you guys can leave. There's nothing else for you guys to do, Pinliang said to Pan Hu Yu and walked back to the dorms with Xiaofu, who had just cleaned up the arena. Pan Hu Yu and the others looked at each other and left in a hurry. Pinliang was really strange. He didn't react no matter how they hit him. But how did Lin Yi make him cry for his mom and dad? These people did not understand, but they could only come to one conclusion, and that was that Lin Yi was too powerful and not an ordinary person. If even Pinliang wasn't a match for Lin Yi, then they had to be even more careful and avoid provoking Lin Yi, Brother Liang. What's going on today? Why is Lin Yi able to hit you all of a sudden? Gao Xiaofu asked curiously. I don't know, who knows? I thought my underwear was malfunctioning, but I got Tiger right and the others to test it, and there's nothing wrong with it. Pinliang frowned. Did Lin Yi become a sky class in 2 days? That's impossible, right? How could he level up so quickly? Yeah, I also think it's a little unbelievable. Besides, Brother Liang, your advantage was so obvious just now. So why did you suddenly fall and get beaten up by Lin Yi? Gao Xiaofu recalled the strange situation from before, so she asked, Didn't Lin Yi hit my leg? Pin Liang didn't pay much attention at the time, thinking that it was Lin Yi who ambushed his leg and caused him to fall. No, Lin Yi didn't even get close to you. All we saw was that you fell out of nowhere, Liang bro. Gao Xiaofu said. No way. That weird. I clearly felt pain in my leg like I was hit. Pin Liang thought about it and felt that Lin Yi was too weird and couldn't be judged with common sense. He shook his head. Forget it. Let's not think about it. It seems like we were thinking too simply. Pack up. We'll be going up the mountain in 2 days to return to the everyday sect. All right. Gao Xiaofu didn't dare say anything else. He nodded. In the hidden house Zhao, an old man came to Elder Zhao excitedly with a small box in his hand. Elder, we got a lot from the cultivator's market auction. This time, there were a lot of small qi gathering pills, and there were only 1 or 2 in the past. We couldn't even get one with our wealth. But we finally got 4 this time. Of course, this is also because we've earned a lot of money recently, and now that we have money, we're confident enough to bid. Before, we'd have to give up if the price went over 10 million. House Zhao didn't have much money in the past. Otherwise, they wouldn't have sent Qibing to the common world to earn money. No matter how much money Zihua made, the money he earned had to be calculated carefully to keep House Zhao afloat. Taking out 10 million to buy pills was quite extravagant. One could say that the hidden houses weren't as rich as the common houses, and this was why House Yu was able to earn money through the common House Yu. Now, without the restraints of the Hidden Family Arbitration Association, the hidden Zhao family began to do business in East Ocean City like crazy. With the hidden Zhao family's connections, they easily accumulated a huge amount of wealth. Even Lei Daming had brought over 100 million to House Zhao in a short amount of time. This was also why House Zhao didn't kill him after he got into trouble, but sent him away instead. This elder was sent by the hidden House Zhao to the cultivator's market auction. His name was Elder Mian, and he was slightly weaker than Elder Bai, but he was still an Earth-class late-phase peak. It was just that he'd just broken through. Small qi gathering pills. Give them to Qibing, we don't need them right now. Elder Zhao waved his hand, deciding what to use for these pills. The only ones in House Zhao who had the strength to use them were Zhao Qibing and Zhao Qikuan, 2 mystics, and they were the only ones who could quickly break through to Earth class. But Zhao Qikuan, on the other hand, was sent to his death. Why would he waste the pills on him? Moreover, the name of this small qi gathering pill reminded old Zhao of the qi gathering pill he had ingested. It was Zhao Qibing's hard work that allowed him to smoothly ascend to sky class. So, if there was a chance to do something for his grandson, Elder Zhao wouldn't let it go. Qi gathering pill was something so valuable, and it was at the 3rd level pill that was hard to find. What was 10 million small qi gathering pills to him? It was fine if he gave it to Qibing. Chapter 25-28. So even if Qibing was a little weaker, he believed that after some training, he would be able to rise to the top. Plus, the world of practitioners was a world where strength was everything. Even if Qibing was a little arrogant, as long as he was strong enough, who could say anything about it? Just like Lin Yi, how arrogant and cocky was he? But who would dare to do anything to him? And so, Qibing was lucky enough to take 4 small qi gathering pills consecutively. But it was also his luck that Lin Yi had put out so many of them in this auction. There weren't these in the previous auctions. Although the little qi gathering pill was also a 2nd-grade pill, the materials used to refine were more expensive. Although the cost of a single pill wasn't that much higher than other pills, it was important to know that there was a chance of the pill being scrapped. The more scrapped the pill was, the higher the cost of a single pill. Therefore, the little qi gathering pill was one of the least common pills in every auction. Usually, there would only be 1 or 2, and it would only appear once every 3 years. The hidden house, you weren't idiots. Even the Sky Elixir sect didn't have a high success rate, and there was a chance of failure. Of course, if the elder of the Sky Elixir sect did it himself, he could guarantee success, but where would the elder have the time and energy to make a normal second-level pill? These pills were made by the other elders and disciples of the Sky Elixir sect, so the success rate was naturally low. The cost was too high, and they didn't want to make too many. This way, the Hidden House of the Right would be able to control the number of small chi gathering pills. They would only release a few each time, but not a lot, creating a situation where there was demand but no supply. Who would have thought that Lin Yi would break this rule? Lin Yi and Han Jingjing's pill concoction was naturally very cheap. Putting aside the fact that Han Jingjing could concoct one pill at a time, the two of them could even concoct a few more pills at the same time. This way, the cost wasn't a problem. Wahahaha, I didn't think that Zhao Qibing, could become an Earth class. Qibing took 4 small Qi gathering pills. After a day and a night of isolation, he finally became an Earth class early phase. Although he still couldn't reach Lin Yi's level, he was already very excited. Coincidentally, he became one of the cultivators with the fastest cultivation speed. Of course, apart from the good timing, the hidden Zhao family had no successor. Qikuan's participation in the Sky Elixir test was already set in stone, and it could be said that he wouldn't be coming back. Naturally, Qibing was the only one left, and he had to be nurtured. Since he had become an Earth class master, he naturally had the right to learn martial arts, but Uncle Zhu's majestic fist wasn't suitable for him. Uncle Zhu was still injured and couldn't get up from his bed, so he couldn't teach Zhao Qibing. It seemed like he'd have to ask for some martial arts, Qibing thought. He went to his grandfather's room. His broken leg was naturally healed as well. This time, Elder Mian had bought a lot of second-level elixirs. With the circulation pill and meridian opening pill, Zhao Qibing took one and his leg was healed. Old Zhao was practicing when Elder Mian told him that Zhao Qibing was here. He let him in immediately. Since he decided to train Zhao Qibing to be his successor, he didn't hold back anymore, even if Zhao Qibing was a little arrogant. But he was still more daring than the cautious Guanyin. Guanyin may be cautious, but his personality was more than enough to protect himself, not enough to expand. The hidden noble houses, now, weren't the same as before. The Hidden Noble House Association only existed in name, and all the hidden noble houses were getting restless. They were plotting for greater development, and if they didn't improve now, they'd be eliminated and become a normal noble house. Qibing, you broke through? You're already in Earth class, early phase? Zhao Qibing walked in. Old Zhao was a little surprised. Thank you for the elixir, Grandpa. I didn't disappoint you and broke through to Earth class, early phase. Zhao Qibing didn't hide his Earth class, early phase chi, so old Zhao could see it with one look. Oh, you're the heir I've chosen, and I'm going to train you with everything I have. Old Zhao said, Qibing, is there something you need from me? Yes, Grandpa, I'm an Earth class now. Can I learn martial arts? Zhao Qibing asked. I forgot about that. Old Zhao nodded, but the martial arts that our hidden house practices aren't suitable for you. You have a metal element body, and Elder Bai's majestic fist is a metal element martial art. But this fist skill has a flaw, and Elder Bai says that it doesn't suit you. He thinks that you should practice your feet skills because your legs are longer. That's an advantage. I see, then what should I practice? Zhao Qibing asked. Wait, I'll help you look. If it doesn't work, I'll call the hidden house you and see if they have any good martial arts techniques. I'll get one for you, old Zhao said. Thank you so much, Grandpa. Zhao Qibing said happily. And you can leave for now. I'll come find you when things are confirmed. Old Zhao waved his hand, signaling for Zhao Qibing to leave. After leaving old Zhao's house, Zhao Qibing was overwhelmed with emotions. He felt like he had to go out for a walk after leveling up. He was in Earth class early phase now, and he should be invincible in the common world, of course, He didn't dare to look for Lin Yi for revenge. Although he was full of confidence, he didn't explode. What he needed to do was to look for Zhong Pingliang. Although Zhong Pingliang had someone backing him, he couldn't kill him, but beating him up wasn't a problem. Since he left the mountain to train, he could only blame himself if he got beaten up because he wasn't strong enough. He couldn't blame anyone else. Even Zhong Pingliang's master wouldn't say anything. Of course, this was under the premise that he couldn't kill Zhong Pingliang. Zhao Qibing drove his Porsche Cayenne to Donghai Industry University. When he arrived at the school gate, he bumped into Zhong Pingliang and Gao Xiaofu's car. Zhong Pingliang had lost the arena, and he went back to the dorm to pack up. He was ready to go back to the everyday sect with Gao Xiaofu, but he didn't expect to bump into Zhao Qibing's Porsche Cayenne. Chapter 25-29. Lin Yi was so powerful that even he didn't dare marry his daughter to him. Although marrying his daughter to Lin Yi was a good choice. House, you didn't even find the ancient ruins. Everything they had now was given to them by that place, and the hidden house you was the representative of that place in the hidden plain. Their words were like an imperial edict to house you. If something happened to Yuning, then house you wouldn't be able to pay for it, even if they all died. This was also why the hidden house you was worried that something would happen between Yuning and Lin Yi. They wanted to get rid of Lin Yi. And so, in order to punish Zhao Qibing, Xiaoqin took out 2 of the 5 elemental arts he had prepared, one the hardest and the other the easiest. He wanted to make it hard for Zhao Qibing so that he didn't have a choice in the middle. I see. Zhao Qibing didn't suspect anything as he nodded and accepted the 2 arts. These 2 skills, one is hard to train but it's very strong. The other is easy to train but it's not that strong. You choose for yourself. Xiaoqin explained. All right, thank you, uncle. Zhao Qibing picked up the simple art and flipped through it. The name of the art was, as the name suggested, able to make one's fist as hard as steel. But in reality, steel was already very strong for normal people, but for practitioners, it wasn't that hard. Zhao Qibing flipped through it a couple of times. This art was easy to learn and activate, but when he saw its power, his face turned bitter. What kind of art was this? The power it unleashed was only equivalent to 2/3 of the power of an ordinary martial skill? Did that mean that this art was much weaker than normal arts? Elder Bai's majestic fist was weaker than normal arts, but it wasn't as weak as this steel fist. It was so weak that Zhao Qibing wouldn't choose this art no matter how stupid he was. Uncle, this technique is no good. It's even weaker than our Wangba fist. It's really... Qibing smiled bitterly. Oh, that's true. But the other skill is very powerful, but you'll have to pay a price for it. Xiaoqian pointed at the other skill. Ah, I see. Qibing opened the other book and flipped through it. The name of this skill was extremely domineering, as if it was a very powerful skill. Much more impressive than the iron fist from before. As he continued reading the introduction of the 1,000 legs, Zhao Qibing was overwhelmed with emotions. This was too amazing, too amazing. This 1,000 legs was simply heaven-defying. The first move of a martial skill was equivalent to 2 times that of a normal martial skill, and as the level increased, each move was equivalent to a normal martial skill, plus 1 move. In other words, 1 move was equivalent to 2 moves. 2 moves were equivalent to 3 moves. 3 moves were equivalent to 4 moves, and so on. In this aspect, it was similar to Lin Yi's Frenzy Fire Fist. They were both top-notch skills among martial arts. Of course, Zhao Qibing's was stronger than Lin Yi's in that even a normal person could achieve the same effect. Lin Yi's, on the other hand, required a lot of practice to achieve the same effect, and Faubert evidently hadn't achieved that. Moreover, the more Zhao Qibing read, the more excited he got. This skill was amazing. The second move was equivalent to the third move, and the most important thing was that the second move could activate 2 skills at the same time. This was why the skill was called 1,000 legs. The first move could activate 1 kick, the second 2 kicks, the third 3 kicks, and so on and so forth. From this point alone, it was similar to Lin Yi's Forest of Wood's 1,000 Changes. "Uncle, this skill is amazing. It's exactly what I need," Zhao Qibing said as he held the book in his hands. "It's amazing, but elite soldier, you should read the introduction first before you decide if you want to train in it or not," Xiao Chen said with a smile, putting on a concerned look on his face. "Oh, is it that hard to learn?" Zhao Qibing was prepared for this. "It's fine, uncle, as long as this skill is really amazing. I'll be able to learn it no matter how hard it is." "Haha, that's great. I knew you were ambitious, Qibing. That's why I'm giving this book to you." Xiao Chen laughed as he patted Qibing's shoulder. Zhao Qibing felt like he was on cloud 9 as he continued flipping through the book, but his face changed the second he read. The prerequisites for cultivating 1,000 legs were actually written like this. To learn the 1,000 legs, you must first break your legs. Break your legs 9 times to activate 1 move. What? I have to break my legs? Zhao Qibing was stunned as he looked at the prerequisites. What kind of skill was this? Why did he have to break his legs? "Yeah, that's why I said it's very hard," Xiao Chen said with a heavy tone. "Only by going through the hardest of hardships can one rise to the top. If you think that this training is too harsh, then you can give up on it. After all, this isn't a path that a normal person can take. You need to break your leg 9 times to activate the first stance, and the second and third are the same. The more times you break your leg, the harder it gets. You can break it yourself at first, but as time goes on, you'll have to find someone stronger to break it for you. This skill is powerful, but it's also very hard to train in." "I see." Zhao Qibing hesitated as he remembered something. He was delighted. He'd broken his legs many times already, and although it wasn't enough for 9 times, he'd be able to practice it smoothly with a few more breaks. With that thought, he gritted his teeth. "Uncle, I'll practice this skill. I'm someone who can take hardships." "Oh." Zhao Qibing's answer surprised Xiao Chen. He thought that Zhao Qibing would give up after seeing such a difficult training method, and at the hidden house you would be able to answer to them. It wasn't that they didn't want to help, it was just that Zhao Qibing was too cowardly and didn't dare practice. Chapter 2530. You've really decided? This isn't a joke. What if you break your leg and there's some side effects? Not only will you not be able to practice your skills, you won't even be able to stand up. Xiao Chen wasn't willing to give up as he tried to scare Zhao Qibing. "Haha, it's fine, I have experience. This leg, you'll get used to it." Zhao Qibing laughed. "All right then, since you're so insistent, I have no reason to reject you. But I've already told you about the consequences. You'll have to explain it to Elder Zhao when you get back," Xiao Chen said. "No problem, don't worry, uncle. Even if I break my leg, I won't drag you into it." Zhao Qibing didn't know what Xiao Chen was thinking that he was afraid of the responsibility. Xiao Chen nodded and didn't say anything else as he sent Zhao Qibing away. Zhao Qibing was in a hurry to go home, but Xiao Chen didn't make him stay. Xiao Chen looked down on Zhao Qibing from the start, someone who relied on opportunism to get to his position. He didn't have any skills at all, getting a qi gathering pill to get to where he was. Donghai, the afternoon was quiet. When school ended, Lin Yi, Xinyan, and Han Jingjing walked out of the classroom together and walked to the parking lot. Xinyan's complexion was still good, but she was a little drowsy. She'd been drinking Lin Yi's medicine in the morning and afternoon, and it felt good. Zhao Long saw Xinyan and Lin Yi together, but he didn't have any temper. All he could do was crouch in the corner and curse Lin Yi. He couldn't do anything else. Pin Liang, a disciple of an ancient sect, was beaten up by Lin Yi. Zhao Long's heart started to waver for the first time. Even if his brother Kong Mingming became an elder of the Sky Elixir sect, would he be able to deal with Lin Yi? Zhao Long wouldn't be a match for Lin Yi if he were to fight Lin Yi himself. Xiaolong had learned quite a bit from following Tiger Right, and while there were levels to refiners, they couldn't be used in battle. Their combat index was too low. Even if Kong Mingming was a Sky-class refiner, he might not be a match for Lin Yi. Plus, even the hidden Sky class of House Yu wasn't a match for Lin Yi. Unless Kong Mingming brought a group of Sky Elixir Masters to deal with Lin Yi, there was no chance at all. Xiaolong felt depressed at the thought. His self-confidence had also gone from swelling to exploding at the beginning to a little disappointment now. Humans are like this. The moment they find out about something good, they will immediately rejoice. They were the most confident, thinking that they could do anything they wanted. But as time went on, after a few days, everyone calmed down and started to worry. Xiaolong was in this state. Lin Yi, naturally, didn't care what Xiaolong was thinking, as long as he didn't cause trouble for him. Lin Yi didn't bother with him. At night, Wang Xinyan slept in Lin Yi's room as usual. She even took a shower today. It was just that when she showered, she did it behind Lin Yi's back. Although she tacitly agreed to some things, she still stuck to her bottom line when it came to matters of principle. After she returned home safely, Mother Chen decided to move. Her family's conditions were much better now. She was taken care of by Fatty Lai and entered the Miracle Dr. Guan Medical Company's Songshan branch as a warehouse keeper. This was a position that didn't require any professional skills. It wasn't tiring and the salary was high. Usually, only people with connections to the boss could take up this position. Although he often had to work the night shift, he had a day off after working. Most of the time, he would sit in the office with his colleagues and read the newspaper to kill time. Only when the company's salespeople came to pick up the goods would he do these things, so it was easy and not tiring at all. All of this, Mother Chin was very grateful to Lin Yi, and she often told Qin about it. She had to repay his kindness, and he told her to study hard to repay him. Naturally, Qin knew this, but she wanted to repay him in a different way. If Mother Chin knew about this, she'd definitely scold her for not learning good things at such a young age. But there was no helping it. After spending so much time with Ziyu, she's pure heart couldn't help but be affected. Zhao Guangyin's brief appearance made Mrs. Qin give up as well. She saw through Zhao Guangyin's ugly facade. It was clearly a scam to lure Lin Yi to his death. Mrs. Qin gave up on Zhao Guangyin completely and moved out with she resolutely. Ziyu's place wasn't too bad. It wasn't too high class, but it wasn't too low class either. The old couple and their child were going abroad, and the two houses were for rent. Mother Chen rented one, and Grandpa Zhu rented the other. Actually, Mother Chen was a bit unnecessary. Putting aside the fact that Zhao Guangyin would never appear in front of Mother Chen again, with Zhao Guangyin's personality, he'd be done with her after using her. Wouldn't he just wait for Xiao Jin to go crazy if he tried to interact with her again? Moreover, with Boss Zhu here, wouldn't it be the same no matter where they moved to? But after moving here, she moved into Ziyu's house. Her reason was very good. The two of them could help each other learn. Because Mother Qin had to work the night shift sometimes, she didn't have time to take care of Qin. Naturally, she didn't object to Qin decision. And so, Qin pure little brain was once again tainted by Ziyu. You're first in the exam this time. Aren't you going to report to Lin Yi bro? Ziyu said as she laid on the bed drinking milk. She kicked Qin, who was reading a book. I'll call Lin Yi bro, is that okay? She was a bit hesitant, but with Ziyu's words, she wanted to do that. What's wrong with that? Ziyu said nonchalantly. It's not that I want to criticize you, but Lin Yi bro has so many pretty girls around him. If you don't take the initiative, when will you get a chance? Haven't you heard of this saying? If you don't want to cry in a BMW in the future, you'll have to work harder now. If you don't work hard in a BMW in the future, you'll have to work harder? I don't have a BMW in the future, do I? She was confused by Ziyu's words. I don't have a BMW, do I? She was confused by Ziyu's words. Chapter 25:31. Chun, she was speechless. Ziyu's theory was too strong, but she was starting to panic. Ziyu's words were all over the place, but the logic was there, wasn't it? She asked weakly. Then should I make a call? Yes, go ahead. Ziyu tossed the empty milk box into the trash can and touched her chest, troubled. Why aren't my breasts growing after drinking so much milk? Chin, she blushed at Ziyu's words. Ziyu sis, what are you talking about? Man, I say you need to drink milk too. Lin Ebro likes girls, Ziyu said. Look at that shoe sis beside him. How big are her breasts? Chun, she paused and looked down at her chest. She picked up a box of milk and looked at it before putting it down again, just when Ziyu was about to nag her again. Chen, she picked up a box of papaya yogurt. I didn't know You're the type of person who's always been quiet, but you're suddenly enlightened? Ziyu said, surprised. No, I like yogurt more. Chun, she's face was burning, not daring to admit it. Oh, then you drink that strawberry yogurt. Ziyu pointed at the strawberry yogurt, not far away. Ugh, Chen, she's face turned even redder. Haha, I'll stop teasing you. Call Lin Ebro now. Ziyu said. Oh. Chen, she sighed in relief as she dialed Lin Yi's number. Lin Yi was in the kitchen making medicine for Xinyan when the phone rang. He didn't even look at it, picking it up. Hello. Lin bro, I'm she. Chen, she was a little nervous. Oh, it's she. Haha, I've been busy lately and didn't have time to pay attention to you and Ziyu's studies. How are you? Can you get used to the high school curriculum? Lin Yi asked. Lin Yi hadn't gone to middle school, but he'd heard Meng Yao talk about it from time to time. The curriculum of middle school and high school were different. The difficulty of high school suddenly increased, and some students would not be able to adapt for a period of time. And Sis Ziyu and I are both fine. Chin, she didn't know what to say to Lin Yi when Lin Yi took the initiative to talk about her studies. Chin, she was very happy and went along with Lin Yi's words. I got first place in my cohort this time, and Ziyu sis is really good too. He's 5th in the cohort. Oh, so powerful? Lin Yi was surprised that Chen, she got first place. To be honest, Lin Yi wasn't that surprised. After all, Chen, she was a good student, but Ziyu was 5th in the whole year. She was quite shocked. You didn't copy it, did you? Chen, she paused, stuttering after a while. I'm first. Copy. Who did you copy? No, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about Ziyu. Lin Yi said. Lin Yi bro, am I that bad? Can't I study well? Ziyu had been eavesdropping on the side and suddenly heard Lin Yi doubting her results. She wasn't happy. Why don't you trust me? Ugh, I'm just saying. Lin Yi smiled bitterly. How about this? I'll go to Songshan and treat you guys to a meal when I'm free. Keep it up. And Chin, she heard that Lin Yi was coming. She was very happy. Then I'll hang up first, Lin bro. All right, bye. Lin Yi hung up. Chin, she held the phone, her face red. She breathed out in relief. She was so nervous. What's wrong with you? Why didn't you say anything? You hung up just like that? Really? Ziyu said angrily. Then what's there to say? Didn't we already say it? Chun, she asked carefully. Say what? Just say it. You really don't know how to treasure opportunities. Ziyu said helplessly. Then I'll call back? Chen, she didn't know what to do. Call back? What did you say? Ziyu was amused. I don't know. Chin, she didn't know what to say. Forget it. Next time I say something, you learn it. If I don't help you, you'll cry for the rest of your life. Ziyu said, Okay, thanks, Ziyu sis. Chin, she nodded seriously and said gratefully. Ziyu stood up. I'm going to shower and sleep. After hanging up, Lin Yi wasn't feeling very calm. Hearing Ziyu's voice, Lin Yi felt like there was a rock pressing down on his heart, reminding him of Armadillo picking up the phone Lin Yi called Doffing Bro. How was it going? Did he have complete control over Red Conk's forces in the country? Could he find out about Red Conk's stronghold overseas? Could he find out about Armadillo? Mr. Lin. The phone rang 4 or 5 times before it was picked up. Doffing Bro's respectful voice came through. Doffing, how's it going? You've become the big boss, right? Lin Yi asked faintly. Thanks to Mr. Lin, I became the leader of the Red Conch country's stronghold. At this point, Big Brother Feng's voice paused for a moment before he smiled bitterly. However, there's a problem. Oh? What do you mean? Lin Yi asked. I've already paved the way for you, and you still can't handle it? Mr. Lin, there's nothing I can do. Maybe HQ doesn't trust me to have full authority, so while they didn't promote the second and third bosses, they sent a strategist over from HQ. He's called a strategist, but he has the same amount of authority as me. I have to discuss everything with him, and he's from HQ, so his words are more important than mine. Doffing Bro said helplessly. He's the one making most of the decisions in Red Conch right now, and I can't even interfere. Oh, is that so? Lin Yi frowned. It seemed like he'd thought things were a little too simple. He'd thought that Doffing Bro would be able to take over after killing the leaders of the Red Conches, but he didn't think that the headquarters would send a parachute. However, when he thought about it carefully, it was understandable. In the past, the Red Conch stronghold was controlled by 3 heads. Now, only Big Brother Defong was left. Whether it was out of trust or to check and balance Big Brother Defeng's power, it was normal for the headquarters to send another person. Chapter 2532. If that's the case, then endure it for a while and see if there's a chance to get rid of him, Lin Yi said after a sigh. Boss, I can't get him to my side. He's the strategist from HQ, and it's a waste of his talent to come here. He's so arrogant and doesn't treat me as the boss at all, making all the decisions. Doffing Bro said bitterly, and he's a sky class. How am I supposed to get rid of him? Normal people can't get rid of him. Lin Yi was startled. He didn't expect the strategist to be this strong, being a sky class. This was out of Lin Yi's expectations. Lin Yi thought about it and said, All right then, endure it and preserve your strength. Just don't let him get rid of you. I'll think of something. Okay, boss, I'll be careful, Doffing Bro said quickly. Lin Yi hung up and shook his head. It seemed like things weren't going as smoothly as he had imagined. Doffing Bro didn't have any power in Red Conch, and in fact, he wasn't even as good as the boss of the bar. He was the boss in name, but his power was all taken away by the strategist. But it was no wonder that this strategist was sent by HQ, and he was a strategist in HQ, and he was a sky class as well. Why would he care about an earth class like Doffing Bro? It seemed like he had to think about the pangolin carefully. If he really couldn't do it, then Lin Yi would have to find a chance to get rid of the strategist. He wondered how strong he was at sky class. But no matter what, as long as he was at sky class, he wouldn't be too weak. If he was at sky class, then unless Lin Yi ambushed him or used a chi bomb, Lin Yi didn't have much confidence in winning. So Lin Yi wasn't in a rush. He had to find the pangolin, but he had to plan before he acted. He'd be an idiot if he acted rashly. Ziyu would blame Lin Yi for taking the risk, even if she knew the truth. Xinyan had just finished her shower when Lin Yi was done brewing the medicine. Her body had the faint scent of a young girl and her body wash, and Lin Yi couldn't help but take a deep breath. Lin Yi couldn't get enough of the scent. Every time he inhaled it, he felt energized. If it weren't for the fact that Lin Yi knew that this scent was good for training, he wouldn't have been able to get enough of it. He almost thought it was a drug. Xinyan was wiping the water droplets off her hair when she realized that Lin Yi was standing beside her, sniffing at her scent. "Ah, what are you doing?" I'll get you the medicine," Lin Yi said awkwardly. "We'll talk about it when we get in the room. It's not good to do it here." Xinyan lowered her voice as she glanced at Meng Yao and Yushu, who were watching TV not too far away. Haha, all right. Lin Yi handed the bowl to Xinyan. Xinyan felt a little sleepy after drinking the medicine. Lin Yi's medicine had a hypnotic effect as well, so Lin Yi didn't think too much of it. After Xinyan went to sleep, Lin Yi said goodbye to Meng Yao and Yushu before entering the room as well. At first, Lin Yi wanted to study the mystical steel rod, but now it seemed that training was more important. Lin Yi wasn't sky class yet, so there was no point in studying weapons. Even if the mystical steel rod could break through a practitioner's chi protection, it was only effective against low-level practitioners. It could be used against people like Tiger Right and Zhao Qibing who didn't have much battle experience. But against those experienced practitioners, Lin Yi wouldn't be able to use it. Wouldn't they try to dodge or snatch it if they saw that it could break the chi barrier? So this thing wasn't very useful to Lin Yi at the moment. Lin Yi couldn't use it at all against practitioners below sky class, and if Lin Yi used it to fight against practitioners above sky class, it would be asking for a beating. They could send Lin Yi flying with just a weapon infused with chi. There was no use for it at all. Lin Yi got onto the bed and hugged Xinyan gently. He activated the second stage of the art of dragon mastery, preparing for a new night in pain and happiness. The pain was because he couldn't touch the beautiful girl in his arms, and the happiness was because his strength was improving rapidly that place. The Xianqin ancestor looked at Taganlong on the sickbed, his heart filled with anger. Even the Xuanjin ancestor couldn't do anything about it. Taganlong's injuries were too serious, and it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that his life was hanging by a thread. He didn't know who was so vicious as to turn the chess piece of his important plan into such a state. Even if other than Taganlong, that place had also prepared a hidden one. This had been planned for decades after all, and failure was absolutely not allowed. But even so, the crippling of the Mingzi had an impact on the plan that couldn't be ignored. Although there was a hidden one, the hidden one had a huge flaw. Not to mention his physique, there was a huge flaw in his cooperation with other inheritors. That was why the Xianqin ancestor was so angry. Second brother, is there really no way to save Taganlong? The Xianqin ancestor asked unwillingly. There's no way. The Xuanjin ancestor shook his head. At least there's no way for now. I'm also looking through some ancient books. But in general, there's still hope. Sigh. The Xianqin ancestor sighed. That day is getting closer and closer. If Taganlong can't wake up before then we can only use the hidden one. Third brother, you don't have to worry too much. I'll work hard. The Xuanjin ancestor said. If big brother, the Xianqin ancestor's expression suddenly changed, and he became a little embarrassed. All right, third brother, I don't blame you. The accident back then was just an accident. You don't have to blame yourself. Although Big Brother hasn't contacted us all these years, he hasn't forgotten the ancestral teachings that Master left behind. He's also preparing for our sect to return to that level. The Xuanjin ancestor said, Big Brother is also working hard to find a wood element inheritor. I'm fine. The Xianqin ancestor smiled a little unnaturally. It's okay. If it really doesn't work, then we'll use the hidden one. I hope this time the hidden one won't let us down. The hidden one is still fine. It shouldn't let us down, the Xuanjin ancestor said. As the two of them were talking, a disciple outside the door shouted, Master, Martial Uncle, I have something to report. Little one, come in, the Xuanjin ancestor said when he heard the voice outside. Yes, Martial Uncle. The person who walked in was the Xianqin ancestor's eldest disciple. Chapter 25:33. Master, your disciple was about to report this. Little one said, according to your arrangements, I've done my investigation. The everyday sex disciple Zhang Naipeo was heavily injured in the Ice Palace's test, and he's been in isolation on the mountain for a while now. He hasn't left the mountain at all, nor has he been to the Wulong Hout Mountains. Yes, I've known about this. When the everyday sect denied it, I knew that it wasn't him. The Xianchen elder waved his hand, indicating for little one to continue. The everyday sect was also a sect that had retreated from that level and had a long history. In terms of overall strength, they weren't afraid of that place, so if they said they didn't have it, then that meant that they didn't. But Zhang Naipeo hasn't been in the sect for long, and his name is only known in his sect. Other ancient sects, other than the Ice Palace, don't know about this person. Little One said, if the person who injured Tagon Long said Zhang Naipeo's name, then it could be a hidden house, the Ice Palace, or an enemy of Naipeo in the common world. It shouldn't be anyone else. Ice Palace? Impossible. The Xianchen elder waved his hand and said faintly, the Ice Palace is of the same lineage as us, and they know a thing or two about our future plans. It's not very detailed, but at least they wouldn't go against us. Little One nodded quickly. Yes, then Master, what should we do now? Go investigate 2 things right now. 1, who did Zhang Naipeo offend in the Ice Palace test? And how did he get this injury? Secondly, we need to find out where Naipeo's hometown. After that, we'll see if we can find the 2 murders. The Xianchen elder ordered, especially that girl who took the treasure. See if she's from Naipeo's hometown. Yes, Master. Xiao Yi nodded quickly after listening. Okay, go. The Xianchen elder waved his hand and let Little One leave. Lin Yi didn't mean to frame him back then. He didn't think too much about it. He didn't expect Patriarch Black Earth's intelligence to be so high. He thought of many things based on this clue and quickly investigated him. Early the next morning, Lin Yi carefully put down the sleeping Wang Xinyan and walked to the kitchen. Xinyan didn't wake up today. She didn't sleep too early before. Plus, it was only 5 in the morning. It made sense that Xinyan wasn't awake yet. Meng Yao and Yushu came downstairs after they finished preparing breakfast. Xinyan was the last to wake up, yawning as she walked out of the room. Wow, Shield Bro, why is Sister Xinyan so sleepy? Didn't you guys sleep early? What did he do in the middle of the night? Yushu asked, surprised. Xinyan's face reddened. She knew what she meant. However, she really didn't get up to do anything. She was really sleepy. However, Xinyan knew that explaining was just covering up. The more you tried to explain, the more it showed that you were guilty. She blushed but didn't say anything. I did it, all right. Lin Yi said with a smile. Lin Yi said that to break the awkward atmosphere. Oh, you really did it? Yushu's eyes widened. Shilbro, hurry up and tell Shu. What did it feel like? Bang! Meng Yao smashed the fresh milk bottle on Yushu's head, causing her to fall to the ground and cry out, I'm just teasing you, you're serious? If you really think that, just do it with Lin Yi and you'll know. Ugh, Yushu cried, holding her head as she got up from the ground. There's a bump on my head. Yao Yao is too cruel. Hurry up and eat. Meng Yao took a deep breath. Although she had accepted Xinyan and the fact that Lin Yi was looking for a big wife, she was still a little angry when she heard that Lin Yi and Xinyan did it. Although she knew that Lin Yi was probably joking, she couldn't help but get angry. However, he couldn't help but get angry. So Shu became his punching bag. Poor unlucky Shu. Oh, Yao Yao's on her period these days. Yushu covered her head and whispered to Lin Yi. Lin Yi was a little puzzled. Why was the miss so angry so early in the morning? Xinyan paused, believing Yushu's words. She sympathized with her, getting a bump on her head early in the morning. Han Jingjing and Han Xiaoqiao came, and no one brought up the topic again. They ate breakfast together and drove to school. Zhao Qibing returned to the hidden house, Zhao overnight, and went to visit old Zhao. Although old Zhao was a practitioner, he was old, and the qi in the outside world wasn't as abundant as in Lin Yi's jade space. He needed to sleep at night, but he still went to see Zhao Qibing after knowing that he was back. Grandpa, I'm back. After Zhao Qibing entered the room, he respectfully took out the technique he got from House Yu and presented it to Elder Zhao. "This is the technique I got from the hidden House Yu. And not bad." Old Zhao nodded in satisfaction. He was pleased that Zhao Qibing took out the technique as soon as he came back. He said to Elder Mian, "Elder Mian, go make a copy and put it in our hidden House Zhao's library." "Yes, old master." Elder Mian took the manual from Zhao Qibing and went to the back room to copy it down. "How was it? You didn't cause any trouble at the hidden House Yu, did you?" Old Zhao asked. "There wasn't much trouble. The process was smooth. My uncle gave me 2 manuals, one easy and one difficult," Qibing said honestly. "That's right, it's not that troublesome." "Oh, then did you get the easy one or the hard one?" Old Zhao raised a brow. "I got the hard one, and although it takes a lot of effort to practice it, it's quite powerful after mastering it," Zhao Qibing said, "because I know one thing, and that is, only by going through the hardest of hardships can one rise to the top." Chapter 2534. "Grandpa, this skill is called 1,000 kicks. It's insane. The first form is twice the strength of a normal skill, and as the level increases, each form is equal to a normal skill plus 1 form. In other words, 1 form is equal to 2 forms, 2 forms are equal to 3 forms, 3 forms are equal to 4 forms, and so on. Most importantly, the second form can activate 2 skills at the same time, and that's why it's called 1,000 kicks. The first form can activate 1 kick, the second 2 kicks, the third 3 kicks, and so on," Qibing explained. "Oh, it's that powerful." Old Zhao's eyes widened. He didn't think that the hidden House Yu would be so generous, giving Zhao Qibing such a powerful technique. He was afraid that the hidden House Yu would give him a normal technique to fool Zhao Qibing. "It's powerful, but it's troublesome to practice." Qibing smiled bitterly. "The prerequisite is, to practice 1,000 kicks you must break your legs first, and you must break your legs 9 times to activate 1 form." "What? In order to practice this martial art technique, he has to break his leg?" Old Master Zhao was stunned. "No way, right? Isn't that the same as hurting yourself?" "Yeah, but I think that breaking my legs 9 times isn't that much." "Grandpa, you forgot that my legs have been broken many times already. It doesn't matter if I break them a few more times," Qibing said. "Plus, I heard that some people even castrate themselves to practice." "That's true." Old Zhao nodded. "But there aren't 9 times, right? I think there were 5 times. What about the rest of the times?" I'll just break my own legs." Pin Liang started regretting it all of a sudden. He'd probably have broken his legs again if he'd kept showing off to Lin Yi with Elder Bai back at the hotel. Breaking 1 leg was 1 less chance for him, and he still had to worry about his broken legs. "Not bad. You're ambitious, very skillful. That's my grandson." Old Zhao was very pleased and gave him a thumbs up. He said, "Qibing, I've been observing you for a while now, but I realize that you're a child who likes to enjoy life. Although you've contributed a lot to the hidden Zhao family, contributions are contributions. I don't know if you can shoulder the responsibility of the family, so I've been hesitating. But today, after listening to your words, I understand your ambition. You are a child who can endure hardship. This 1,000 legs is very powerful. As long as you master it, your strength will definitely increase greatly. Our hidden Zhao family is very powerful. There's hope for the future." Zhao Qibing was pleasantly surprised after hearing his grandpa's words. He didn't think that he would be so lucky. Because he had broken his legs too many times, he had chosen a martial technique. Unexpectedly, it had become Old Man Zhao's determination to choose him as the young patriarch. This made Zhao Qibing feel lucky. If it wasn't for the fact that his legs were broken by Lin Yi so many times, he wouldn't have chosen this self-torturing technique. It was precisely because his legs were broken that he was used to it. "Grandpa, don't worry. I will train hard and lead the hidden house Zhao to glory. Qibing said respectfully. Yes. Then you go back first. I want to rest. Old Master Zhao said. Ah. Wait, Grandpa. I have something important to discuss with you, Qibing said. Oh, is there anything else? Asked Old Man Zhao. Grandpa, when I went to the hidden house I fell in love with Uncle's daughter, Cousin Yuning. I was wondering if I could ask Uncle for her hand in marriage. Let me marry Cousin Yuning, then we'll be even closer, Qibing said. I see. Old Zhao didn't show any signs of disgust or happiness. He only nodded faintly. I understand, I'll think about it. Logically speaking, this is a good thing. But I don't know if the hidden house will agree to it. Because of the Qi gathering pill. We're not on good terms with the hidden house. I'm very surprised that you were able to get the martial arts technique this time. If we were to propose, I'm afraid that the hidden house would reject it, and it wouldn't look good on our hidden house Zhao's face either. Yes, Grandpa. That's why I didn't ask the hidden house directly. I wanted to discuss it with you. Qibing's heart skipped a beat. He really had that intention this time. The hidden house princess was not only beautiful. She was like a fairy tale girl. Most importantly, if he married Yuning, then the position of the young master of House Zhao would be secure. Wasn't that the case with his father, Zhao Guangyin? You go back first, I understand. Old Man Zhao waved his hand, indicating that Qibing could leave. Yes, Qibing didn't dare to say anything else and quickly left. In fact, Old Man Zhao and Qibing had the same thought. He also thought that if Qibing could marry Yuning, then he would be able to push Qibing to the top and there would be less resistance. So, this matter could really be manipulated. After Qibing went back, he took out the 1,000 kicks technique and started to study his legs. Breaking his legs 9 times, wasn't that a bit too cruel? Normal people wouldn't be able to do that, but in order to practice this technique, Qibing had to break both his legs. Qibing found a large hammer, gritted his teeth, closed his eyes, and smashed it towards his legs. Bang! Ouch! Qibing cried out in pain, but his legs didn't break. Other than a bruise, there was no other injury. Qibing was an Earth-class early-phase master now, after all. He had pure Qi to protect his body. When he was hurt, he unconsciously used his pure Qi to protect his body. But after this hammer hit, his legs didn't break, but he was in so much pain that he was sweating profusely. Damn it, it hurts so much. This broken leg is not something that can be broken by an ordinary person. Qibing clenched his teeth in pain. He saw how easily he broke his legs, but it wasn't easy for him. It seemed like this was a skill as well. Qibing waited for a while before gritting his teeth and raising the hammer once more. This time, he tried to avoid using pure Qi to protect himself. Another loud bang sounded, and Pinliang let go of the hammer with a howl, clutching his leg as he jumped around on the ground. It hurts, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. Did it break this time? You're tuning in to the Thunder Spear YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.